now to the consideration of the meeting minutes from the last one on June 21st, which we have had the opportunity to revise electronically. And if there are any other additions or corrections from anyone, if you all had a chance to do that.
The only other thing I wanted to make a note was in the minutes under the very first COA 16-31, we had a couple of amendments, but I noticed that their formatting was different than if you go down to, and this is just a consistency thing, than COA 16-48.
Oh, I see. Yep. Okay.
But the content was fine, or at least I didn't see any content changes.
Which do you prefer?
Well, I kind of like the way we did 1648.
1848. Okay. It's easier
It's got
to
a bold, it's called out in a bold.
see. I'll do it
Sorry,
that way now.
yeah.
No problem.
So do I sign tonight or do I?
I mean, the content was fine, it was really just a formatting thing, so.
Right.
Or at least from my perspective,
Yeah.
I mean.
I think.
All right. Any other comments?
Nope.
All right, we have a motion
Any
to
other
approve.
questions to ask?
I make a motion to approve the minute.
Second?
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay, we have a full house here, so we'll try to take care of everyone that has things that are not so complicated first. And those that are here, I notice, is Mr. Torrey? Mr. Torrey's here? Torrey's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, thank you. If you want to come up here, please.
Sure.
This is COA 1645. Thank you for application to proposing to alter the landscaping at 305 South Fifth.
Yes.
All right, you want to explain what you want to do?
So we did redo the landscaping last fall. We didn't do that front strip that's closest to the sidewalk. So the idea is to go back and complete that, and it will just match the portion of the landscaping that's up closer to the windows. And that's really about it.
I thought there was also something in here about staining it to match the.
Oh, yeah, sorry, usually my husband handles this. He's like, go to the thing.
We'll give you a
My
quick-
apologies. Yeah, so there was some curbing put in. If you look, there's some photos, the curbing looks kind of grayish. Our intent has always been to stain it to match, there's like a retaining wall that's pretty old and it's kind of, it looks weathered. So we just want to match that color as closely as possible.
You know, without actually walking around.
Yeah.
Did you guys put in the rock walks? There was, I noticed there were some rock walks that were in this application as well. Back to a gazebo.
Yeah, we haven't put that in yet. That's the
Okay,
intention,
so that's part of this as well.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And
See, I told
those will mirror or match the ones that are in the front. There's some
Right.
rock pathways. Yeah, it's the same thing, just leading back out away from the house.
I think that was everything that was in this.
Any comments? Any other questions? Need a motion?
Yeah. You want to get my page up here. I make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-45. My motion is based on the following findings: that the landscape alterations are consistent with the landscape standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic Design Review Manual.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So,
Okay, that's it.
You're good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, the next COA is 1651, Mr. Smotherman. This is for 97 West Flagey. Okay. I know you're not Mr. Smotherman.
No, but we're here to
But you're
represent. Yeah. Basically, it's the same colors that we just put on the building.
That's actually Rob's building.
It's all the same building. The only difference would be, the door was originally black, she wants to put it back black. But the colors will match the colors that we just put on, junk on the corner.
The corner.
The corner. So we're just in the back part of the building, right? It's the Simply
Yeah, well, it
B part.
faces Flagey.
Right, but it's the Simply B part, so it's the part that's.
Yeah, the
next.
part that's painted,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna match the same, same scheme, color scheme.
For the black door instead of blue.
Yeah,
Right.
Good.
But no changes to the signs or anything, right?
everything's gonna stay the same.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get all those ugly wires out of the way when we're done.
I like the color scheme and the black door.
Yeah.
The dark
Yeah, that
door
looks
is
good. Very
better
appropriate.
for boys.
Yeah, I think she's trying to bring attention to the store.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate.
Very good. Any other discussion?
No, I'm good.
Make a motion?
I'll make a motion, I can just kind of get it to them. I make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-51 based on the finding that the window and trim color are consistent with the paint design standards set forth in section 6 of the Bardstown Historical Design Review.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Not like all the other ones, just for everybody's information.
I know, isn't it good?
These, the approvals that we recommend will go to city council next Tuesday for their actual approval.
And did you get sign in?
No,
Just make sure you sign in, just so.
where do you sign it?
Down.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Really?
All right. Our next one is Kentucky Standard.
I don't know.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Miss Jamie. How are you?
Good, I feel like a cop at the principal's office.
It's a very serious business.
All right, this is COA, this is, excuse me. This is COA 16-52, and we wanted to repair the cracked parking and drive area.
No, actually,
Restripe it?
what we'd like to do is, I want to take the concrete out. The reason there was a concrete pad there is there used to be a printing plant there, and also delivery of our newspapers. The carriers used to pick them up there at the garage. We no longer do that. We have carrier delivery with the CJ, so those go straight to their distribution center. We don't have any heavy trucks coming in any longer. So that's why the concrete pad was there. You can see that at one time the city had to lay new, I don't know if it was water or sewer lines, so you can see where they had to go through it. It's just broken all pieces. And pretty much our parking lot is down to dirt.
Yeah.
So I want to take the concrete out, completely blacktop everything, and just restripe it for its parking only for the employees.
So it'll go right up to, does that go right up to the alley that comes in
Yes,
from?
the alley, I
Fourth.
think it's in one of these photos. If you see this photo right here, see that crack?
Yeah,
It will go right up to that because the alley's the city's, obviously.
Right.
And I've tried to work with the city as far as just going ahead and paving their part, at the same time we're doing ours instead of having, I don't know if y'all have any influence or not. Instead of, because they're gonna have to grind that out to match so that there's not there won't be a
Kind of a lip.
yeah,
Thing
it's
there,
that
yeah.
lip. They'll have to grind it out. It's actually just cheaper just to go on over, and so I've been trying to work with the city on that. It's not been successful, so.
wow. So they would need to do that before?
No, they would do it at the
asphalt?
same time. They would do it at the same time that we would do ours.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously budgeting issues with what blacktop, but this is just a very small section. So I'm continuing to try to work with them, but I have to do something with our lot. I can't
Yeah.
wait any longer.
Yeah, the last 2 winters have been
No,
terrible.
and we're down to
Yeah.
dirt in
Yeah.
some areas, so.
So removing the concrete though, and then just paving over with
Yes,
blacktop.
we'll
and then-
remove the concrete and blacktop all of it.
Right.
Instead of having concrete
And
pads, we
stripe.
don't need it any longer.
Yeah, and then for the parking lane, or the parking spaces, are you gonna put Kentucky standard only or something
No.
like that? Okay.
No, we already have it.
I mean, you have a sign there, so,
It
yeah.
was approved a long time ago,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
no, we'll just stripe it.
Okay.
Just,
Good.
just regular lanes.
Yeah, yeah, I know where to get that done.
Jamie, are you gonna stripe it up to the door so that now the parking pad becomes, I mean, is there gonna be any way that having this like entrance into the garage, are you all still gonna have that? Will you
Yes.
need that? Okay.
Yes, and probably what I'll do is put stripe lanes, just
Okay.
like,
Just to make kind
so
of like a
that
path?
people will understand that it's a path up to the garage, yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Just
that's
not
what
like
I
the
was
park-
thinking about your all's
Yeah.
parking situation and
Which is
thinking.
tight.
Yes, and so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there'll be lanes there, and then there's 4. You remember, Sarah, there's like 4 on this side, and then I think
Maybe 6 or 8?
there's 8, but I'm gonna actually make it 7 because they're too tight going in next to the door, but,
Great.
Yeah, for SUV parking and stuff.
It
Yeah,
will
it's too
encourage
tight,
the
yeah.
beautification of your next door parking lot.
Yeah, I think that looks nice.
The city said maybe that will encourage the beautification of the next door parking lot. Because it'll look good when
Yeah.
it's done. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We have any other discussion,
No, I'm-
questions?
Nope.
All right, we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of COA 16-52. My motion is based that the requested work is consistent with the streetscape standards set forth in Section 6 of the Bardstown Historic Design Review Manual.
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. There we go.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. John and Lucy Bradford. Are they here? Oh, right. Hello. This is COA 16-53. You propose to change the trim color of your house at, it's 104 East Broadway.
110.
110, I'm sorry, I said 104 on here. 110 East Broadway. Okay. All right. We have a color.
Looking at the picture, looking at the picture here, it looks like the windows are painted red like the doors, is that correct? The trim part? Yeah, the inside, are those
Inside
going
the
to
window.
stay the same, the red, or are they going to?
No, cream colored also.
It'll be cream also.
We're going to change the color of the shutters.
There aren't any shutters across the front anymore.
Oh, on that part of it. Okay.
No, does the picture show shutters?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay, well, they fell off. We didn't really, we helped the last one off, but yeah, so we have not replaced them.
Okay.
They're still with it. There's no shutters across the front.
Okay.
So the trim will be at the corner, around the windows, and around the door,
Yes.
and the inside of the windows as well will be cream.
And the door as well, or the door is staying the same?
Well, the door is red. I think it'll look fine still.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I think
yes.
it'll look okay, so I don't plan to change that.
Okay.
Do you plan to put the shutters back?
I don't know.
Were they original to the house?
I can't answer
Probably.
that either.
The house was
built in
19.
It looks fine without them, but it
Right.
also looked okay with them, but it was just kind of a different look without them. Really can tell where the paint has faded and wonder what it would look like when it's all one color, you know, it might look pretty.
Any other comments? Good motion?
If I could get to that page, I would. Hold on.
I'm still learning how to use that.
Wait,
Bear with us.
Okay.
Anybody else want to make a motion?
I make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-53 with the following, with no conditions. The motion is based on the following findings. The paint is consistent with the paint design standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual.
A second.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Good
good.
luck.
All right, at this point, I'd like to change the order so we can take care of Don Parish. We can involve and put you last so we can take care of your request for an awning right now. So this
Which
is
number?
60.
1662.
Hi, Don.
Hi,
Howdy.
Dawn.
This is put green awning?
I'm sorry?
Is that a green awning?
Yes,
Color on there?
everybody else has a black awning, I wanted to be a little bit different, I wanted a dark
See, there you
green,
go.
so it would, the mold, the sturdy mold wouldn't be such a
Yeah.
All right.
irritant.
Variety of color is nice to have.
This one right here. The glade green.
We picked out 3 different ones, not knowing exactly what was going to be available.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
They're all basically the same.
but it's gonna be solid, right?
Okay.
And are we going to be able to use all the same hardware, or we have to get new hardware?
No, the same, everything else is identical, so just reusing it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Makes a world of difference not having that awning up, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Especially with these hot days that we've had.
Mhm.
Are they the same material? Or different?
One of them is a little different material.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference?
I'm confused by the awning people. One of them says there's a slight difference in cost, the other one says there's no difference in cost.
Yeah.
So depending on what the definition of slight becomes.
Like is,
Mhm.
yeah.
This one feels,
There's one that's almost a, plastic is not the right word, but,
it is a PVC composite.
yeah.
But it's a fabric.
Yeah, I think they're both appropriate.
Yeah.
I think
It would wear
I
well.
think it would be both,
Either one
either one of
would be
them's,
fine.
either one of them is appropriate and would be up, would leave it up to you to
Mhm.
choose which one it
Yeah,
is.
and the colors are fine. They're all
Make that an amendment to let Rashay know the actual one, depending on what you pick.
That's good. That'll break up the wall of black.
Yeah.
A little.
It's nice, yeah, that's good.
Like I say, everybody in
Okay.
town has black, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to get something,
It's good.
you know, a little bit, little variation. And I understand why they have black.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with the mold,
Right.
just the,
Yeah.
So I could paint my columns black and my porch should be all
I
right.
beg your pardon?
So
I
those should be
painted it.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. You good?
I'm good with these. I don't know how I feel about this PVC one.
What's the problem with that?
It just looks like, it doesn't look like fabric, it looks like, I mean, it's coated with the plastic. That's my problem with it.
Do we have a larger sink pool at that one? Does anybody, do you know if anybody else in town has? It's just hard to see. I mean, I see what you're saying. It's just hard to see with a small.
I don't have a problem if you want to strike that one. I wanted to be sure that we had something in the event that if there's a problem
Sure,
at
sure.
the supplier's level,
Okay.
that we can't, I don't want to have to come back. No.
Right.
Right. Will either of the other two, I mean, because they're.
Any of the three is
basically-
fine with us.
Yeah,
Then we'll,
Okay.
yeah. Is that good?
I get a motion.
You want me to make the motion?
I'm on the page. This may be
Oh,
the
there you
only
go.
time that I'm on the appropriate
Go
page.
for it.
I make a motion to recommend approval of COA 16-62 based on the finding that the awning is consistent with the awning standards set forth in Section 6 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual in regards to the sunbrella fabric that was provided by the applicant in the 2 colors indicated on the application.
Have a second?
Can I add something else? With the recommendation that the applicant lets the historic preservation coordinator know which color is chosen. Just give me a call.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kim.
Thank you.
Can I pick those up?
Yes, I was going to ask you if you want.
Yeah. One second, so,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
You have a great day.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks.
Bye. Good to see you.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Cribb? This is
54,
6
1654, right?
COA 16-54, and you have some apparently original basement windows that are fixed that you want to replace.
Yes, we have the pictures.
Right.
They're broken and cracked and boarded. Anyway, they're close to the level, to the ground, to the street.
Mhm.
But the thing is, there are none in the front. So they're on the side and there's one in the back. So there's no ventilation down there except when we open up the door. But it's real high humidity,
Mhm.
very susceptible to mold. And here's the picture.
What's the material of the window?
That's the vinyl.
Mhm.
And that opens there's a screen. Yeah, that's it.
And how many are there?
There's, see, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and there's 1 in the back. So it's 5. But it does need ventilation, this high humidity, and there's no air conditioning down there.
Well, the wood is starting to rot,
Well, he saw,
so there's no
we
recourse.
saw the pictures.
On the decay, it doesn't matter how old it is, once it starts rotting, and the water's seeping in the basement.
And will you replace all the wood and everything around the windows?
Oh, yeah. There'll be a licensed contractor, you know.
Does the window, or the replacement windows that you're proposing fit into the opening?
Yes.
Do you need to change the
It'll
opening?
be the same, no, it'll be the same size.
Okay.
And actually, what you're seeing there, actually, this horizontal actually matches some of the windows on the house. Even though it's, and you probably won't see it because it's way down the ground, but it's just synced up. It matches. It doesn't have that in between.
Mhm.
Well, that's what I was
See that?
going to ask. Do you, are windows that are there now, are those original to the house, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, you can tell by looking what, I don't know.
Probably. The thing is, they're, as they say, not character-defining windows. They're not, that I could see visible from the street or, at all. And just as a reference, about 3 or 4 years ago, for a house on South 3rd Street that had a historic window on the side of the house, was approved to replace it because you couldn't possibly see it. And I think what we look at for all of our preservation standards are generally what you can see from the street, unless it's, as they say, a character-defining window, like a special shape, stained glass, and that type of thing. This is, not that it's not important, but you can't see it. And even though the material, I don't know if you consider metal framing. I mean, it's, I don't know how long. It's your call, I think, on this one, in terms of the material, because, like I said, in my view, it's not visible from the street, and it's not a window on the side of a house, that's a historic window. But a metal frame of the same type, even though it's, we're replacing a window that's fixed or one that opens, but it's going to be better for the house. So, but one that was made of a metal frame will be much longer lasting than vinyl.
Right.
It's, if you consider
And
cost.
honestly, I
you know,
really.
We don't
I didn't
consider.
know, I didn't tap on it, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just-
well, I'm just saying, I mean, that's
Okay,
generally
okay.
what happens. And,
Okay.
you know, we don't consider, we can't consider cost here. And that's not an issue that you brought up anyway. That was just something I was tossing out there to see if you
Okay.
considered other materials for what you wanted to do to have a window that went open.
Actually, I didn't. I hear you, though, what
Mhm.
you're saying. I just didn't tap on it. I didn't. This is what they showed me. I said, this is what I need, and
Would you,
showed the measurements, and I gave them that, and
would you be interested, would you be wanting or willing to consider another material besides that? I don't have a I'm just asking just to kind of look at all the alternatives. I don't have a problem with what's presented, really.
oh, okay.
But
Well, you always
Because you
consider other
can't see it.
materials. We don't have a problem with that. It's just having it, finding it, and I just happened to find this.
Mhm.
So it was like, that looked good, and it was easy to work with, and screens, and
Mhm. Good. Any other comments? I don't, like I said, it's, you know, it's vinyl, but. as-
And I don't
as-
even know if it is, because, you know, I didn't tap on it, but I hear what you're saying.
Is it light? I mean, it may be
Yes,
vinyl
yes, I
clad, or it
picked
may
it
be
up.
vinyl, you know, it's, it may be. I mean, we've had issues with that material, obviously, recently, and,
Really? Okay.
but you can't, this is different, in my mind, because you can't see it from the street. It's not a character, as they say, a character-defining window. So it's not like everybody can see a vinyl window on the side of a house. And it's, on top of that, it's going to,
So low to the ground.
yeah, low to the ground, can't see it, and it's going to prolong the life of your basement.
The
and
bottom
whatever.
floor.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I mean, only about your consideration of like aluminum, you know, another clad kind of window, but.
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea because everything's going to metal mount windows.
Yeah, just-
Because
Well, but
a house 100 years old or 50 years old or
Mhm.
25 years old, wood is not going to appeal to Mother Nature.
Well, wood will last, but it has to be repaired and has to be
A lot.
maintained.
Yeah.
And what I'm just talking about now, I mean, you could just easily get wood in there, but
Yeah.
it's not something that we are going to force on anybody, you know, in a case like this, we don't want to be doing that.
No,
But I was just
yeah.
asking if you had considered the same type of design, kind of modern window that opens up with a screen in metal, just for your benefit, not for us. I don't think we have a problem with it, it's just that the metal will last longer than the vinyl for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with
It's up to you.
And I'll ask them if it is metal, because I didn't ask, I just
Yeah, that's just something to think
found
about.
it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something to think about, because
Okay,
it's
sure will.
definitely is longer lasting than vinyl window. Vinyl window,
We don't want to keep
they don't
replacing
guarantee it after 10 years.
Yeah,
most of
and
the
it
time.
costs us the same, believe it or not. Pretty close.
Yeah, so it's just something to throw out there for you. Okay, do we have any other comments? No? Have a motion?
I'm on the page, you need to.
Oh, are you on the page?
I'm
Go
the
ahead. You're on the
Okay.
page.
I make a motion to recommend approval of COA 16-54. My motion is based on the following findings: that the window replacement is consistent with the window standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual. I want to add to my motion that we are approving this particular vinyl product because the windows are not character defining and they are not visible from any public right of way.
Right.
Correct.
And if they decide to go with a different
Then-
material,
Yeah, they can let the Historic Preservation Administrator know. Yes.
Just give me a call.
Thanks.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, Wanda Green,
Wanda's not here.
not here? All right, then we will, I would need a motion to table that for the next time.
I'll make a motion to table 16-55.
Have a second?
second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. That's tabled until next meeting, hopefully she'll be here. All right, COA 16-56 at 511, 11 and a half, and 513. That's a mouthful of an address. North Third Street, the double door house. And you want to do some major landscaping changes.
Yes, well, Actually, it's just, there's not much there.
Mhm.
A lot of weeds, poison ivy. Kind of want to get rid of all of that and then just put some boxwoods in the front, just nothing but boxwoods and the black lava rock mulch. In the back, around one of the tenants' side, they have like a patio, a concrete patio with a little picket fence. I want to put some boxwoods and some flowers there. There are 2 trees that need to be cut down. One is growing underneath the foundation. The roots are going under the foundation. And the other one is, I'm not exactly sure how many arborvitaes there are, but they've kind of all grown up together. It looks like it's one giant one, but I'm sure there's probably more than one there. But they're growing into the power lines, and I want to get those cut down and replant maybe a cypress or something of that nature there. So, something along the same lines, but just not the arborvitae again. It's something.
How tall is your cypress going to be?
Well,
At maturity, you're thinking, because we'll grow into the power lines again.
I really don't know. I'll have to check that out to see.
You can always trim it. I don't know what happens, what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't, I mean, depending upon, if I plant it a little off further away from the power lines, then maybe it would give it a little bit more room to, because it kind of has that pyramid shape rather than growing straight up, so.
And were you gonna replace a similar number, I mean, just to cover the same span as the arborvitae?
Well, actually, I was just hoping that the one, once it gets to the maturity size, that it would cover that area. Because the arborvitae grows straight up, and this has a more of a pyramid shape. Christmas tree shape.
I think the arborvitae are like the bane of homeowners. They look great on the landscape plan, and I could put 3 or 4 here, and then, like, I don't know how old these are, but
They have to be pretty old because they're very tall.
yeah, but a lot of times when people landscape, I was looking at your plan, and that's why I was asking about the cypress. And a lot of times people don't think what a tree or whatever will look like at maturity when it'll like grow into the house or something like that.
I'm having Village Green do the landscaping for me, so I'll check with them to see what they recommend for that area. If not, something that's not going to interfere with those power lines that are going into the house.
I'm actually surprised the city hasn't come to trim those because.
Well, I called and they said that it was on homeowner because it's what leads into the house from the pole.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not their.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
It's not their baby, so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So no visit from Asplund. Yeah, good thing.
Yeah.
And I think that I had on there that in the back, there's a big tree, I think it's like a big maple tree, and I wanted to do, when we bought the property, there were a couple of swings hanging from the branches, and I wanted to kind of make like a little circular area around the tree so that they can have, the kids that happen to be there can have a place to not have to get muddy or dirty or whatever. And we were going to do some, I think she called them Annabelles along one side of the driveway. Because right now it's nothing but poison ivy. So, and then I also in the future would like to extend the other tenant side to make them have a larger patio than what they currently have. So, I think that's it.
That's great.
And then
And
what,
then-
I'm sorry, the material you'll use to extend the patio, what
Just concrete.
what's there? Yeah, so.
And then there's a metal building with a fence that shows some tree and some overgrowth, but basically that's going to be landscaped. The tree will remain there. I think we discussed that,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And the other tree, of course, she's proposing is the one that's literally right next to the foundation.
Yes, and there will be nothing put back there. Get rid of it.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, the shed, are you gonna, is that yours?
No.
No, okay.
I would like to have something grow there to hide it, but I'm afraid, I don't want overgrowth again.
Right, yeah.
I did
No, I
actually,
understand.
after it was, all that was taken out of there, I didn't realize that it looked that way, so.
A little surprise for you.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Looks like a nice plan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. Any other comments? Or
And the
questions?
patio, the extension of the patio is part of this COA? Is that correct?
I thought I had put it on there. but-
The extension of the
Yeah.
patio?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says the
There was
added
just a
patio.
lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in it.
I read it yesterday. Okay.
Right, we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of COA 16-56. My motion is based on the following findings: that the landscape alterations are consistent with the landscape standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic Design Review Manual.
A second?
Can I add that whatever you end up using to replace the arborvitae that you have approved with the historic, whatever, review board
Yes, yes.
administrator.
Thank you.
Okay.
Me.
And we have a second?
I'll second. Oh,
Good. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Question, the one that you just tabled, I was supposed to meet someone here and she's not here. Miss Jennings, would that have been her last name?
The one we tabled was for Wanda Green on Flash A. Okay.
Okay.
I don't see one for.
I don't see it, Jennings. What was the property that you were,
It
Do you know-
was a sign.
For Miss Tisha,
For a sign.
Miss Tisha Davis,
Yes,
you're her mother?
yes.
Hi, I'm Rashay. I've been looking forward to meeting you. Yeah,
Okay.
she's coming up. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, we
that's
have it.
fine, 'cause I've never met.
That's okay,
I
that's
didn't know
okay.
who I was supposed to meet.
Well, that's okay. We'll take care of
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Make sure.
Yeah.
I didn't-
You said it, and I
You're in the
realized
right
I'm the
place.
Jennings. Yeah, I'm the
Oh,
Jennings.
oh, yeah.
I was looking for it on the agenda. Oh, that's good.
We'll take good care of you.
That's good.
It'll be cooler in October.
We're good.
All right, Mr. Colsavine, we have okay. This is COA 16-57 for proposal to remove trees and to change the walkway to brick or brick pavers at Shadow Lawn at 216 West Flash A.
That's correct.
Right. You'd want to
So if you want to take a look on the application, the sidewalk that's existing is in pretty bad shape. We want to take that up and put brick pavers down and continue it around the house to take up this old busted up concrete that was put in place. And that's the same exact brick that the city of Bardstown is using in the historic district.
The Pine Hall, right, the Pine Hall brick.
Right.
Did you have a preference? I noticed you had with the arrows pointing.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
that you see downtown.
Is that what
They're
you
mixed in with a couple of different colors.
want to use, or would you rather have something that better with your house? Or?
Well, I don't want to upset you all, so. It's not my favorite brick, but, I want it to match other things that are in the area. I'd like something a little bit darker, more brown to match the house.
I'd feel a lot more comfortable with it if they were, instead of multicolored. I know they have that was a streetscape plan and some of those are different, but here you have your whole house brick relatively the same.
There's about 4 different
Same
colors of brick on the house.
Yeah, but I mean, from a distance, I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're not uniform.
From the facing of the house, yeah, it looks all the
Right,
same, but on the side.
from the front, and when you have that
Yeah.
walkway going up, I think it would fit better, just my opinion, that it would fit better with your house, with the building, even if they were darker, they don't have to be the exact shade, but if they were all more the same shade of brick.
Right.
Yeah, like
Going in
these-
rather
I mean,
than
I prefer
multi.
the tumbled brick too. I don't know if you've seen those. They look a little bit more classic in time period.
Well, I'm looking also at the sidewalk. I know it doesn't go all the way in front of Shadow Lawn, but it goes down quite a bit down on that side of Flagey.
Right.
And those bricks are all generally, the same shade, which is traditional. And I
Right.
think it's more of a designer choice now to, like the streetscape, that went in and other things. It looks good, but I think,
It looks okay.
yeah, it looks okay. I think it looks better to have the same shade, whether it's lighter or darker, and I think either one would probably be okay,
Okay.
depending on what you thought in discussion would fit
You
better
were
in the
saying
house.
you prefer the tumbled brick
Right.
to what you actually proposed
Correct.
here? And what exactly is tumbled brick?
It looks like it's been, roughed up a little bit, that it's worn on the corners. Yeah. It looks more aged.
And what color is the tumbled brick?
They can do that in the tumbled brick as well.
I'm gonna try to bring up a
Okay.
picture.
Okay,
And this sample here, like there's 3 together in each of these samples. Those are the 3 variations of color, or are we
Yeah.
pointing to that dark? Okay.
I'm gonna come all the way around to you, give me a second. I want you to pick out one that I'm gonna show my board. And I'll actually email that in the picture
Okay.
application. So you pick one that is kind of what you were thinking.
Good paper here. I guess this is more appropriate.
Okay. So very similar, just not perfect.
And will the size
Yeah, this is
and the
more
shape of
appropriate.
the walk stay the same?
Yes.
This is like.
Because I noticed like
Right.
That's
around, oh, I see what you're saying,
And that's
yeah,
the tumble?
That's the tumbled brick.
yeah, yeah.
They didn't have that on the board, but they can do it in any brick.
That looks better.
Because I noticed around the house, so let me get my picture, it's kind of a there's a little bit of a curve.
Right, and we're going to basically
Kind of just
make it more
there.
symmetrical.
Okay,
Because it's not, it looks like, I don't want to say the word, but it looks like it was very poorly done.
So you're going to take up all is it
Yeah.
concrete?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to take all that up and
Right.
replace it with this, have
Correct.
your walkway go up and go around the
Correct.
porch steps?
Correct.
And the porch.
and then kind of angle it.
Right.
Rather than just curve.
Right, it's going to be very symmetrical, and it's going to have
It's kind
the
of
same
curvy
basic
there,
shape, but
right,
it's going
right.
to be more rounded.
This tumbled brick with that, I guess it's
Right.
more of a lighter shade, more of a
Well,
natural brick.
To the right of the sample that was pointed to, that seems like a more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some variation, but it just seems like a more appropriate amount of variation.
That way it's not exactly the same color,
Right.
but there's going to always, like you said, there's going to always be some variation in the brick. If you ever had it extending down the sidewalk, it wouldn't clash with it.
Or even the one below is, you said you wanted darker, it's just less variation. I think the
Right.
one below or the one to the right are both.
So these two then? My fingers.
No, that's good.
I think, I don't know, my preference. What?
Well,
You have a
it's,
preference on
it's
that?
basically, it comes down to what they have stock of in the yard. And if they don't have it in their yard, they can pull from a different plant, but it's not going to take that much brick to do the job. But if I have to do an entire production run, it's just not feasible. So I don't know that until I go back to them and say, this is exactly what we're going to be using. I just know that what the city of Bardstown is using, the sidewalks, they had plenty of stock on, and they were able to get it in the tumbled as well. So it wasn't my first choice, but it's more appropriate to what you see around town.
So if you got the tumbled,
I like the one that Roche has her right hand.
right, this one right here?
No, the darker one.
Oh, that one right here, okay.
Mhm.
English Edge Cocoa,
I think either one,
yeah.
whichever. I like the lighter one.
But I can see what they have available and, get back to you if that's what you want to do.
What will I think what we'll do is make an amendment saying that you'll let Rashay know
Sure.
what they had, just so we have it on record
Right.
right here in the town, so.
You all agree that either shade is appropriate?
Either
So
the
the-
English Edge Cocoa or the, whatever that one is,
Autumn, English
Autumn.
Edge Autumn.
or the English Edge Autumn, yeah. I
Okay,
think so.
that way, I mean, if we agree that
In the tumbled,
In
in the
tumble.
tumble,
yeah.
Right.
so that way then you can,
And
Have
if
an
those are an
alternative.
option and the English Edge full, is that what that's called?
Yep.
Is
Full
the
range.
one that's only available, is that appropriate?
I don't think so.
Okay, but it's
my
appropriate for the
opinion. I
city
don't-
of Bardstown to use it in the historic district.
But they don't have to
Streetscape.
follow, well, the city's exempt from historic zoning,
Gotcha.
number one.
That's very convenient.
Yes, and so, but the thing is, so, you know, but what they did, I mean, the upshot of it, it looks good, there weren't brick sidewalks in some of the city anyway.
Right.
But where you do see brick sidewalks that predate streetscape, they're generally like in front on Flagey. The bricks are generally of the same tone. You don't
Right.
have the multicolor, that's a much more modern design element that people like to do
Right.
now. So that's why I think that either one or the other two, the two that you had,
And I'm not opposed to them, I'm just saying, you know, I don't know what's available, so.
yeah. But I just, my opinion is, I don't think multicolor, which is what that would turn out to be, especially when you have a long stretch of it going up the walkway and around, I just don't think that would look appropriate
Okay.
in front of that particular house, the structure of the brick. So,
All right, well, I'll see what they have and report back, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to make that based on conditional approval via me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it conditional.
Any other comments?
Do we need to then separate that out of the rest of the application? Because the other piece of it, correct, is you want to take some trees down, correct?
Yes, some are diseased, some are dead, and
That's
then
right.
some are overgrowing onto the house.
These are in the back.
Yeah, every single one of them is in the back. And as far as, my understanding was that I had approval from Rashay with the exception of this pine tree on the very last page, on page 14.
The other ones were obviously diseased, so
Mhm.
I considered that as something that needs to be taken care of. Of course, it not coming down on the house.
Yeah.
But if you all have any different opinions about that, let me know.
No, all right. I don't have a
And
problem
we're
with
taking
pine.
the stumps and everything out too, so.
Oh, good, yeah. I don't have a problem with the pine tree.
Yeah, this
Sort of
one's
like a
actually
magnolia.
diseased too. I got a letter from,
on what page was the pine tree?
it's on page 14.
The one that's leaning,
Yeah.
the leaning pine tree.
Yeah, it's going to keep leaning and then take the fence.
Yeah.
It's also been trimmed at the base. I don't know if you can tell by that
Yeah.
or not, but I've got a cousin that's a certified arborist and landscape architect, and he came and took a look at it just so that I have something to show you. I don't know much about trees, but he's got a report here that said it's, just a matter of time before it's either going to
Yeah.
cause damage to the fence or
Mhm.
fall onto the other property.
Yeah. Had some vibrations that come through with our little trees.
My only other question, and it's kind of more toward Rashay, just for clarification. So on page 3 of the application, in standard 10, out to the side, it says applicant will address location of parking areas. We're not dealing with parking though, correct? So,
No, just the fact that the trees were growing over it,
Oh,
that
okay.
area.
got it.
So,
Okay.
that was how that was involved with that.
There is parking on the back side of that property though.
Yeah.
Right.
The Houston House,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
their driveway's right there too.
So is the removal of the tree going to impact that at all then? Is that why it was
No, it's not going to
included?
impact the
Not
property.
really. I just wanted it to be considered.
Got it. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure we were covering all your bases.
Thank you,
So,
Dr. Bradley.
no problem. Okay.
So you want to keep this together on one COA? We can do that.
We
with
could
a-
do that with maybe two parts.
I just have one other question.
Sure.
The river birch, so those paperwork birch, on page 13,
Mhm.
those were diseased? They're not original.
Well, they're not, but two of them have been cut off at the base of the property. And if you come over in the backyard and take a look, they're halfway across the back of the house.
They're in the back.
Yeah, every single one of these trees is in the backyard.
And in
They're
some
all
way,
leaning.
encroaching
Well, and they're
house.
not, anytime you see a river paper birch, it's been planted in the last 15 years.
Right. And they're
I mean, that's
fragile.
like a popular thing, you know, it's not.
None of these is a canopy.
Yeah, they're not native to the area either,
Not,
so.
yeah, not at all. They blow over
Yeah, they're not.
pretty quickly.
And can cause significant damage.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? Make a motion. Need to include.
I was going to say, I'll make the motion, but I'm going to make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-57, but I'm going to put it in two parts. The first part is the removal of the trees from the property. And then the second part is that we are amending the sidewalk, the walkway design to be tumble brick. Is that, do I have that name correct? To approve the tumble brick. And then the two colors are the cocoa and the autumn, I believe. And then you can just let Roche know which one you are going to use
Sure.
for that. Did I get that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. My motion is based on the following findings: that the landscaping is consistent with the landscaping standards set forth in Section 4 of the Bardstown Historic Design Review Manual.
A second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
You just give me a call when you kind
Sure.
of know what they've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me know.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
All
all.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you,
You
too.
too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. COA 1658. Ms. Davis.
It's so nice to meet you.
I'm sorry for the confusion.
No, that's okay.
Evidently, the parent did not get good instructions.
We're friendly. We're
Yeah, we're good with it.
Your daughter is absolutely remarkable. So I loved working with her, and she was so sweet and kind. I just wanted to say it's a pleasure to meet you.
So you want to paint the door, repaint the door, and add a sign at 105B, and that's, as you're looking at it, the one on the left side.
Right.
The door is now blue. Is that the one on?
It's on the right.
Right
side.
It's on the right-hand
On
side,
the
I'm
right.
sorry.
If you're looking at it.
Okay. Right. And we got actual colors or samples?
We have the sign, which I will bring up in one moment.
What's the door color now?
It's, I think it's just a
Oh, the
white.
white.
It's peeling.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the red isn't necessarily depicted accurately, so this is more of a color
Mhm.
that it was supposed to be. It just didn't come out printed well,
Yeah.
like most of our things that we scan.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's more like a
A deep red.
deep red. Cool.
And then this was another proposed red. It's similar between those two colors. She just bought a couple samples in to make sure we knew that it
Mhm.
wasn't like an orangey red.
Oh,
And is there for the hanging, for the bracket, is there a bracket already there for the hanging sign?
The bracket for that sign will actually match Sugar Babies, which is her neighbor.
Okay.
So it'll be an identical bracket to what's
Okay.
on the building already. So,
Mr. Gary?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I would check.
context for that, yeah.
That's
right. Context for that. So you had two people that would be you.
Well, that'll be good. That's what I wanted to ask, because I knew there was a bracket sign on Sugar Babies, and I just wanted to make
We'll
sure.
keep it consistent, same bracket,
Yeah.
same level, same placement.
Okay. And then I did notice that you had not, and gosh, if it was in here, I just didn't see it, I'm sorry, about the awning on the window.
That is going to be replaced in kind, without lettering on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So she's working with it.
Okay,
So
okay.
it'll just
good.
be another black awning? Will it have like the stripe on the bottom? It'll just be solid black?
Solid black on it.
Okay.
And then no lettering for the design.
Okay.
What about any signage, any other signage like on the window?
No.
Or, okay.
Nothing on.
She said she would come back to me later. She wanted to get the shop positioned and ready to go.
Mhm.
And basically after that, you know,
Okay.
maybe come back with a
Yeah.
new application.
Got it.
All right, good.
Cool.
So which of the, do you have a preference for the door for either of those two paint samples? Do you know?
The brighter red, the poinsettia.
I'd feel a lot more comfortable with a darker, a lot more subdued door color than, yeah.
The reason we were going with that, because I think the sugar booth had like a teal color or something, and we tried to get the two colors that would complement one another.
Yeah.
So,
Because usually the doors in the downtown district, I mean historically, I know it's not a historic building, but
and that's
try to make them look darker, you know, it's more traditional. And there's a lot of range in color for darker, but traditionally haven't been painted really bright colors. And that's where that sample is kind of a little on the red side.
whichever one you guys.
Is it the antique red?
Hmm.
That one?
What's that?
Antique
This is
red?
antique
Yeah.
red and this is poinsettia.
I think it's
The
the
antique red.
I think they're actually not that different in color. I think these have a slightly different sheen, and that's what your sheen is.
Mhm.
Because the way the light's sitting on.
Yep.
But I'm looking at, I mean, it is a little bit different, but not. But I think you're probably right. This is a little more appropriate.
Mhm.
I'm good.
All right. Any more discussion or comments? Have a motion?
I will make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-58 with the following conditions: that the paint color antique red was the color submitted and approved. The signs and paint are consistent with the sign and paint design standards set forth in Section 6 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual. Oh, I also want to add that the fixture for hanging the sign will be the exact same fixture that is currently on the neighbor's sign at Sugar Babies.
You have a second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, Mary,
Hi, Mary.
Hi,
nice to
Mary.
see you again. Yeah.
Bring my Arby's bag.
Where's the fries? I know it.
So we have a proposal for a mural. We haven't had one before.
Yeah, I know it. I figured this would throw it.
Jonesy has a mural
He does.
of sorts.
It's a
You know,
sign.
It's a sign. Well, I wanted to preface it by saying that I've done a lot of research since we got your application, and just about every other historic commission or board or district around the country that allows murals considers them to be a sign, because they're kind of a form, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know how to approach it.
Yeah, because they're a form of
Concept.
advertising, because
Sure.
even if they don't have the name of the store or activity, whatever it is, it draws attention to the building where it is.
Right.
So I think,
And that's how I designed the COA too, correct?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so if we look at it as a sign, then it would need to conform with scale, placement, and all the other things in our sign regs.
Okay.
And I was thinking initially that, and I'm not going to go on and on here, but I was thinking initially that when we have a mural, it's sort of like opening a Pandora's box to have murals all over the city.
Right.
And I'm looking at it more deeply in terms of how other cities like Charlottesville and Richmond and others that allow murals have handled it. You treat it as a sign, you have it where it's not on a facade, which it's not. You have it in an area, or you have it on a previously painted surface, generally of a non-contributing building, which I know your building is, but the addition on the, where it's going on the back
Right.
is modern. So it fits a lot of selective criteria.
Okay.
I think that for me, the question is, I guess, the colors and the size of it, the scale. I had a couple of questions about what's represented in it, and then
I
I'll
was
give it to
trying
everybody.
to, this was more conceptual, and I was talking with the artist who is a recent graduate from Bethel High School, and she's won several awards and stuff like that. And so when I was going on hunting, I had this little idea, I thought, so anyway, she sort of whipped this up, and I was thinking of things that were historic to our town, and make it, this is purely conceptual, so it's just things, and I was throwing her, like, St. Joe, and the fact that we have, I want to initiate the fact that we're urban country too, we're authentic farm to table, the corn, and the brick houses, and Mount Kentucky Home, of course, and just sort of tie into different historical things. Of course, I want to throw my building in there. Actually, I really want to throw some, just the downtown buildings as a group at one time. So I kind of wanted to do a collage, and then along with that, that she could have the opportunity to make some money by selling these images individually in my store. So there's the long and short of it. So I just thought.
Oh, like she'll do postcards or
Something like
stationery,
that.
something like that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so this is all purely conceptual. It could be anything, or
Most cities,
so.
yeah, I mean, in what you had said about that it represents history, most cities also, among their other specifications are that it represents either the history of the district or the wider history of the city.
Right.
Just had a couple of comments.
Sure.
And I know this is only a proposal, but whatever design comes up, I think before, we would probably have to come back to us again.
Sure.
Because I think we would want to see the final artwork.
Right.
But
Right.
in just looking at what is here, I don't have, I like having the St. Joseph, and I like the Bourbon and the Corn and Old Courthouse Building and Rick House and all of that, which is good. Old Kentucky Home is good. I would not include the two figures next to it. And
Yeah.
Because it doesn't represent everybody that
Real
could.
horses?
No, the
No,
two people
there's
on
two
the
little
end of the
people right
building.
there in front of Mountain.
Yeah, they go to the top hat.
I'm sorry. When you said oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Antebellum,
Okay.
antebellum people, and
Right,
I know that what that's probably going with is the drama and everything, but I think if you're going to represent, I think you have a difficult time when you're putting people in there that you had an awful lot of enslaved people there that way outnumbered the owners, always.
Gotcha.
So I think, I like having the house, I would ask, I'm not an artist, but I would just, we're not trying to design it, but I would say
No,
if
I
you're
think
going to have a
that's-
building,
I get it.
yeah, to not have people
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and with no disrespect to your business, I would substitute
More
the facade
downtown.
of your building with, say, my choice would be of another local historic building, which my choice would be the First Baptist Church, which was, you have St. Joseph Church, which landmark for the Catholic community here, of course, and then the First Baptist Church, originally the Union Church, which was is a landmark building that included several Protestant denominations very early on, shortly after St. Joseph was built, and then became, right after the Civil War, a primarily African-American Baptist congregation. So that what would, if you stick with that, with the things that are there,
That's
so
right.
that you would have
A good
a
representation.
mural that would represent the community.
Yes,
And other than that, I like the idea of a collage.
yes.
And it's always difficult to pick history. I'm not trying to be politically correct, but trying to ensure that if
No,
we're
I
going to do
need that
something
input.
historical
Yeah.
and represent it, that it be inclusive as much as you can
I would
be.
love to, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's great.
But I like the idea. I like the
Um,
idea of it.
You're okay, well, the horses, like I said, she whipped this up like overnight. Seriously. I was like,
The little colt looks kind of hungry.
yeah. Horses in the scale over here.
Well, it varies on the bourbon, so, actually, I was gonna
Yeah, I
say,
wondered about
it
that.
kind of, it doesn't look balanced.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
the
the horses
left
are
side
really good.
is very big, not that I don't love it, but left side is incredibly busy and the right side
Right.
seems to be a little vacant. So there's
Right.
just something else that might need to go there. My only other thought since,
Wait, I was going.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
Because
sorry.
of the scale, when you were talking about a sign, is the scale that I have going, because I can eliminate
Well,
that
that's
sign.
what, yeah,
That's
we
what
have
I'm
to look
saying.
at,
yes,
that's next up, yeah.
So-
For it.
We've got the, we're going, so, we have,
8 foot
Now, I've got-
15, so that's,
does that work for a wall? Or,
The overall width of the back of that building is 20 feet.
okay.
Now, if you did from the electrical panel to the door, it's 8 feet wide,
Mhm.
roughly.
But how far is the total square footage of the wall up to the roof line?
So 20 by 10.
20 by 10? And then...
That's just the bottom. So but if you want to go all the way up.
I do all the way up, yeah.
So I would say add another 10 and 10.
Okay,
I
so
would say
20 by 20.
20
So
by
30.
30.
Yeah. Because
So
it's
that-
stair steps.
a certain
to the back of the
percentage,
building.
it can only be a certain percentage? is that
Yes.
Correct.
I forget what it is. But,
You have how many other signs on your building?
I have this little, this one that
Mhm.
you can see,
Okay.
and the front.
The front, just the front sign, that's it? Yeah. Okay. So if she...
What about on the awning, does that count?
What,
I don't have it on.
on the door,
Look on
Mary,
the-
is this a sign? I can't read what the green, is that
It's- yeah, that's a
does
little-
it say, like,
yeah,
an
that's a sign,
Avenue
yeah.
entrance? Okay, I couldn't read what
That's
it said.
because people were using my doors to make.
To go in, yeah.
See the front of the building here?
You can have, what, 3?
You can have 3 building signs. And-
Including a rear.
Exactly.
That includes the
So
rear.
you can have 3 building signs, and if you do 3, that puts you at, it goes 11, 9, 7, I think. I would have to double check, but I think 7 is the third option. Is it 7%, the minimum we could do per facade? Yeah. 7.
7%.
7% of the back of the building, so you said it was 20 by 30. 20, no, it was 20 by 30, right, correct?
The building, yes.
It's 600.
Mary, can I ask, so, so if you just, I know you just have the one sign in the front. So the Aunt Mary sign that you have hanging over the door, because I think it would be kind of, it would give more consistency to the mural to have something coming across the top of the door. If you moved that sign to the door,
It's not, it was back at my, it was at my original store.
yes, yes,
And it's about this thick, and it came out sideways.
I gotcha, I gotcha.
So it's not a board.
I gotcha, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's kind of carved, actually.
So if you, for instance, took off the horses on that one particular side, how long?
So if I just did it from the door, where the door starts,
Mhm.
so if I did it from here to the electrical
Yeah.
panel,
Yeah, how wide would that be?
that is 8
It's 8
feet.
8 by 7, so that's 56, and it should be 42.
Yeah, roughly, yes. I don't know, percentage.
But the 7% would be 42, is that what you got?
I am double checking.
Oh, Mary, quick question while we're working
Yeah,
out.
she's at 9%, so that's a little bit big. So
But-
she's at 9 and we need 7.
Well, here's my question. This piece down here at the bottom, where your private label
Yes.
is,
So the back of
could you
this,
take that part off of the mural and just do like a solid square rather than
Almost
have
like a
that
picture
little
frame.
piece? Yeah.
right,
So would that get it, if she got rid of this piece,
That's what I'm just now thinking.
could that get
And the
her
horse
That was
back
not
closer
included
to
in
the
the-
7%?
That's what I was about to say, you
No.
didn't include that with what
No.
you just said.
No.
Do you know how tall roughly that is, that little
it's-
brick?
So if you take 30 inches minus 10 feet,
Okay.
that's, so that's,
Seven
say 3
inches.
feet, take 3 feet, so it's 7 by 8, that's the area,
That's 56.
roughly.
Okay. And then take off 30 inches, you think?
I already did that, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So could that get her closer to that 7% if we eliminate it?
7% is approximately, because we don't have
Right.
actual measurements, 42 square feet.
And it's 56.
And it's 56. If you take off a foot, it gets down to 48. So she took it, pulled it down from the
Yeah.
wood at the top,
Mhm.
and got rid of her private label.
you know, mine has
So-
been, yeah.
So just some pulling it in, just a little.
And
get
I'm
rid of
actually,
42.
in that whole thing, if we remove that brick portion, if we have that removed too, you know what I'm saying? Like taking out that particular with the bottle, just cut that out.
This is
Yeah,
not
we weren't
brick.
counting that
It's
in
not
the
brick.
picture.
All the
Yeah,
stuff that's painted is actually tin.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you painted it
So-
to look like brick.
Yeah,
Yes.
the bottles aren't included in the 56.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything that's painted is actually the metal,
Gotcha. It looks like
lovely,
brick.
beautiful, ugly metal. So it just is.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
trying to get it right because they're bound to be, you know, when we have one that
I
needed
understand
it,
where
we're
you're all
gonna,
coming from.
Yeah,
I'm
then
just
we're gonna
telling
wanna
you
make
the
sure
way my
that-
building looks.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it would be
well, if you took off,
attractive.
is it a foot? I mean, how much more like width or height needs to come off of that?
Well, you know, what
To
it
bring
would
it.
probably end up doing is, what we could do is
If we pull it down
do
to
like
7
a
feet, 8 by
border.
7 is
Does that
Mhm.
make it, even though it's not part of the sign,
Right,
it would still,
you
you
can
know.
paint it,
Right, it would paint it, but it would sort of like blend out.
right,
So that would be the option instead of doing hard edges.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
does that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
Mhm.
So-
Like an 8 by 5 would be 40 square feet, so
Mhm.
So that's what we're looking at.
What?
8 feet by 5,
approximately.
approximately, so to get you your 7%, which would allow under the standards.
Okay.
Yeah, a foot up and a foot down, so you've got 7 feet, take off a foot on each top and
Right.
bottom.
Or take
Have that as your
sides
border
or-
painted. or
Take off the
something.
sides.
Well, and you
whatever
can
she
go
wants
back
to do
there and
there.
get some exact measurements, and then you'll know.
Right.
Like, yeah.
The
Well, these are
actual-
really, yeah.
Oh,
So-
I got you, I'm
I
sorry.
got it, yeah, pretty darn exact, but.
But I mean, but
That's giving you a rough estimate.
The
too,
height
so-
of the building, we estimated, so
Sure.
your percentage could be.
Oh, adjust a little bit, but it's probably not gonna make that much of a difference.
Okay.
I can go up, I doubt I can get 10, I could fudge, but I doubt it.
Add an extra story.
I've probably got 11, you know, the back's probably a lot shorter than the other 2 floors, especially from the front. The window from the front is a lot taller than 30 feet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
See what you're saying, because it slopes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, plus each level gets substantially shorter, so
mhm.
that's, yeah, I would say it is more taller than 30 feet, but, yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
So what we need to do is not include that side. Theoretically, it's just going to be within that little square
Mhm.
room top before the door.
Yeah.
And then I could treat it like I'm probably framing it out, so I've got an idea.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And what was-
Yeah.
What was your final?
Approximately 5 by 8 would be 40, and 42 is our, what we estimated as max.
Okay.
So if they shoot for that, I mean, that's great. If they shoot for 5 by 8,
6 by 7.
8 by what, or that,
Yeah.
yeah.
6 by 7 might be better.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That would give you a little more, that would be your max.
Yeah, that would give you your absolute max, and then that would give you your 7%.
So it looks like what we'd be doing here this evening is giving really a review, since we're
Yeah.
not approving anything specific other than giving guidelines for
Yeah.
what you do and approving
It's
the
doable.
idea of it, which then
Right,
Right.
we don't
Which is kind of what I
recommend.
want to know.
Yeah, we don't make a recommendation to city council, and we just take a vote on it for a review, then come back with,
With a more final.
yeah, with a more final thing that we can go ahead
Yeah.
and consider, yeah.
Yeah, that'd
I
be-
like the idea,
Yeah, I
It's,
think it would be really cool.
kind of,
So-
And
kind of
I-
meets.
Well, and I
the-
tell you, there's gonna be so
what
much
everything was.
activity back there now
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
you know,
Derek's.
yeah.
There's gonna
and,
be a lot.
Right, and that's the whole idea, you know,
Right.
we want it, you know, it's been an eyesore for a long time, and
Mhm.
the fact that you take those buildings down,
Mhm.
and it opens
Really?
a whole, you know,
Yes.
a nice, you know, something that needs to be done.
So it's nice to have an application like that that meets pretty much meet specs that other people are using around the country. It makes it a lot easier for everybody.
Right.
And,
And you know,
do it.
I've got issues with going to upper levels too, so that'd be something else I'll throw at y'all. Because I would like to be able to, you know, the front of the building is stucco. I'd like to go on to the back of the building because when there was a fire in '95,
Right.
they tore all those windows out
Mhm.
and there are no more. So they put concrete block in its place.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. I got the others replaced, but
Yeah.
one of them's not, but I would like to go with stucco in.
Can I ask two questions really quickly? So, right now, on this picture, there's a light fixture beside the door.
That is
Are
not a
you
light
gonna-
fixture.
What is that? This right here?
That is a would-be catcher.
Oh.
So it is a.
Okay.
My husband did the same thing. He's like, actually a mason jar that's wood in it.
Oh my
It
gosh.
actually will catch wood bees.
Okay.
So.
So that'll
Do you have a lot of
be-
problem with wood bees then? Oh, I'm sorry.
Around the screen,
That's
yeah,
okay.
it's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, there's bunches of them back there.
So will you
Especially when we
keep
had our wood buildings. that
a
were-
would-be keeper back there with, because that's where, right where the mural.
Oh, it won't stay there. It's
So
just-
it- so
it's just a
that'll go.
temporary
Okay,
thing.
okay,
That was
so
just
that'll
put
go.
up
I
there
was
by
like,
now.
how's that gonna
Relocate it
fit?
to the other side.
Yeah, it probably won't
Yeah.
stay. I'll put it up every spring maybe.
Okay, got it. So that's just, okay, cool.
It's just an ugly thing.
That's funny, okay. From the picture, I was like, that's a fun
What is
picture.
that?
And then, okay, so just for my clarification for the signage. So the allowed number is 3 maximum on all sides of the building.
Yes.
Okay, so the mural will count as a sign.
Yes.
Correct? So then there's aviaries across the front, right? And then, so
That
how?
one on the door will be removed.
That one will be gone and then we'll keep the original one,
Correct.
right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
that was the plan for my
Yes.
own kind of thing.
And the only reason that one was there is because people were using that
Right,
back
to
door.
get in.
Right,
Okay,
Yeah, no,
cool.
understandable.
They
That
don't
makes
need-
total sense to me. Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure you were keeping the original one from the original store, just because that one is
oh yeah,
neat. So,
yes, it is neat.
cool, okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood what we were doing.
Started.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that you might want to, and this is just my own thought here, is that when you come back with the final design, you might want to think about if you want either uplighting for evening.
There is a security light out there
Uh-huh.
to the right of the door. Yeah. Yeah, it only comes on at night. So it will come on when it gets dark.
Okay, oh, okay, I got you, I got
You'll
you.
be able to see a glow.
Okay.
on it.
And my only thought was, we have so many evening things now,
Yeah.
especially downtown, and I can tell you that city parking lot and alley are gonna be so busy now with all the stuff that's going in. It would be a shame for that not to showcase.
Yeah, I think you'll see
So-
it, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Awesome. So,
Okay.
yes, cool. I will get back with you all.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Great, oh, yeah, that's exciting.
All right, so
Do we need a?
I was gonna say,
We need-
probably needs a motion to
We need a
table it,
motion,
yeah.
no, not the table, we need a motion
No,
to, for approving the review of it.
Like the,
That that the
Oh,
that the
idea of
review
it?
is approved.
The idea is good, I just
The
need to
idea
come
is
back
good.
with the final.
I
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah, this is not going
Okay.
to city council.
Okay,
So,
okay.
all right,
Someone-
so, how do you want, let's see.
You gave me the scale and the stuff to
Right.
go with, and I'll come
Mhm.
back with the final picture.
all right.
Do I have to come back to the next meeting, or
You can, it
I just come
can.
to
Just
you?
whenever.
August 3rd would be the deadline to get the final design to me. For
Okay.
the next meeting, which would be August 16th.
Yeah, that depends on your schedule.
Yeah, it
You know, what
depends
you
on
want.
Well, I
Any
mean, if I get
artist.
it quicker, that'd be greater.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the next meeting, everything by August 3rd.
Right, okay, yeah, because she's going to school.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
might be a weekend project. Oh, when it's done with acrylic paints, just let me know.
Oh, good, yeah, I was going to say no neon fluorescent.
Great.
No.
Well, they are.
It's the kind
It's
that,
one way.
same thing, it's in a spray can,
Yeah.
so it'll last, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we making a motion to do?
A motion to approve of the design concept
for
the mural.
application. See, okay. So I make a motion to recommend approval of the design concept presented in COA 16-59. The mural is consistent with the sign standards set forth in Section 6 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual. And the
let's
applicant
amend.
shall return with final design specifications
Within a 42 square foot constraint.
within a 42 square foot constraint.
Correct. Got it.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
There we
Awesome.
go. Wait a second.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Third.
All right, all in favor on the...
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. That's awesome.
Good deal. All right, we have, let's see, number 16-60 for 311 North 3rd Street at Bardstown Eye Care.
Great, how are you?
Good.
Good.
This is with Dr. Woody, the Bardstown Eye Care Center, right beside Big Tone Cleaners.
Yes.
And this is Andy.
Amy, Carrie, nice to meet you. I'm not Tony. Amy.
Tony's son.
So there's some existing signage there. It's really rough and ragged, and he's got some new tenants, so he's wanting to kind of update the signage, up especially the signs, with the different doctors that are in the building. So there's multiple doctors in there. And then something up kind of on the gable to easily identify the building here at the top. Bardstown Eye Care Center.
Is the thing below that, is that the logo?
That's his
Or,
Bardstown Eye Care Center.
yeah, okay, so. Cool.
And that would be all half-inch black PVC for the lettering.
And how does that fit? I'll show you the square footage.
Everything matched up.
Everything matches? Good.
And there's nothing on the doors, the front or the back, correct?
I do not believe he has,
I don't see
I don't
anything
think
on
he
the
has any
front
hours or
doors.
anything on those.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you could do that, and it's
Let's
not a
say
sign.
hours.
The hours is
Yeah,
okay,
hours
just
is
not.
okay, not the name of the
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't say anything about that, so
Okay.
it was
So you got 3 signs.
3 signs.
Replace 2 of them, replacing ones that are there, and then the new one on the gable.
New one on the gable.
Oh, and I'm so sorry, this is a material sample for the sign. I remembered.
And the sign on the gable, will that be painted or that'll be?
It'll be this color. It'll be this same material, no paint,
Oh.
just black. It's kind of a flat black.
Wait a minute, were you asking if it's painted on it?
Yeah, I mean, how is it, is
Yeah.
it something that's applied?
No, they'll be, those are actually, they're individually cut letters, and then they're stud flush mounted against the wall.
Okay.
So, just a little dimension.
And then for
Is
the,
there a space between the letter and the wall?
No, this would be,
So it's flush, you said
Flush
flush,
to
it's
the wall.
actually flush on it.
for the front sign and the sign that's on the brick, you're just gonna use the existing fasteners that are already there.
the fasteners, it'll be hidden from behind, so it'll be a stud mount. once again.
Gotcha,
So,
okay.
yeah, we want it to look nice and pretty, no.
Oh, sure, sure.
No hardware to show, so.
And the only thing that isn't necessarily going with this is that, of course, with with S15, how it talks about, overview adorned with a cornice along the top of the storefront. Of course, that's not necessarily consistent with the design of this building, but everything else is okay. So that's part of the exception within that guidelines. But the design of this building does not meet those criteria, period.
Oh, I see yes, I'm sorry, I see what you're saying, yeah, gotcha.
Do we have any samples of the colors for this sign? Do
It's,
we have any? Is it like
I
the,
meant to grab them and I went off.
is it like the green sign
It's-
that's already on there that they
Yeah,
have?
it's a dark green. It's more like a Pantone 5513, if you wanted to look that number up.
Okay.
But
Because I
And
don't
then-
know that one right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Hunter.
Hunter green.
Hunter
Hunter
green,
green's
okay,
And then this gold, it'll have a little bit of gold here.
okay.
Spark. It's a real flat gold.
It's not a shiny gold.
No, it's not.
It's a more matte
Matte
type.
flat.
Okay. What about this blue? Just the,
That will be basically that color
because
there.
that's part of the logo, I'm
That's part of the
assuming,
logo.
for that? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Cool. Okay.
And regarding the, was it SI5, about surface mounted signs on the door and freeze and all of that, there are two in the historic district. One of them is the, I forget what it is now, the Family Medical Center, at Fifth and John Fitch, Fifth and New York, rather. Yeah, John Fitch. It has it under the gable, and then you also have the same thing, well, it did at Keens. Depot down
Oh,
there. So,
yeah.
I mean, you have to do it. It's the only, you have to put your sign with what you have. You don't have any windows or freeze.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
not,
be,
it's
it'll
not
be
too
really
large.
nice looking. It's definitely gonna make the building look nice.
Honestly, I didn't know there were multiple vendors in there anyway. I just thought.
I didn't either. Came up to,
Yeah.
my uncle did these signs 20-some years ago, so they filled up for quite a long time.
Quality work.
Time to replace it.
Cool. Okay.
Any other comments?
Nope.
Need a motion?
I make the motion to recommend approval of COA 16-60. My motion is based on the following findings: that the sign designs are consistent with the sign design standards set forth in Section 6 of the Bardstown Historic District Design Review Manual.
And if we could add an amendment that you'll bring a sample of the green and the gold and the blue to Rochelle so that she has that for her records.
So I need to keep
Yeah,
that one with the
right,
file.
Right, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Good.
And we have a second.
I'll second.
Oh, I can't say my own motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Ballard.
Last
Last we go.
Yes.
That's right.
All right, hi.
Thank you for your patience.
That's
Yes.
right.
Busy night.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Well, that's good. A lot of work going on, so that's
So
good.
this is COA 16-61.
So my wife, Caitlin, and I are proposing to paint the fence behind our house black.
Okay.
It certainly needs.
The wooden picket, right? Okay.
And, around town, I know Joe Buckman painted a fence on Fitch, black. So I don't know.
The fence, it's a privacy fence. Is that, how tall is that, 6? Right, so
It is.
our guidelines that we had, of course, it's non-compliant with the guidelines that we adopted in 2008, but the fence long predates that. So
Sure.
it's grandfathered in, were it to be removed, and it couldn't be put back where it is because our guidelines that we adopted in 2008 do not allow privacy fences going along the front, where a corner house has 2 fronts, so going along the front of a house. So that's, not talking about moving the
Second
fence.
Street side.
It's on Second Street side, and the other part of it doesn't pertain, but the Second Street side. And so, just in my mind, to paint it black is sort of adding to something that's already non-conforming. And our guidelines for fences show on the fencing standards, FE, for residential fencing, numbers 8 and 9, FE 8 and 9, that the colors be a lighter color, generally that matches, I think that may be of what happened before, that it looked like it matches closely your trim. Doesn't have to match the trim, but generally white or a light color, because that's traditionally what they have been. Certainly that's required now. We don't have something like that in there for privacy fences, because now they're not allowed to go along the city right of way. Like Joe Buckman's that has his, that is black, goes back towards the rear of the property and starts at the front of the house, which is what is allowed, Just in my mind, painting that black, I think adds a visual, even more of a visual barrier and kind of visual obstruction to me than having a light color that tends, looking at it from a distance, that tends to blend in better in the surrounding area than if you have this real dark wall, which is what we wound up with.
Yeah, and obviously the fence, needs work, which,
Yeah.
What do you all allow, what is the guidelines now if that fence were taken down? What would be allowed to be put back up?
If you wanted to put back a fence, you'd have to put up, you could put up a picket fence, you could put up a wood rail fence, you could put up a metal fence that is very similar to some of the wrought iron ones you see like on South 3rd Street at McCoy. Am I going to Chad?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Chad McCoy's.
Yeah, Chad McCoy's.
Yeah.
As you go down as you go down South 3rd Street, metal fences that are similar to that and similar height. I think we limit it to 4 feet. So, that's because it is non-conforming and the guidelines don't permit any more privacy fence, 6-foot fence going along the city right away on either front or side on a corner property especially. It's basically corner property.
Which, is problematic because, nobody wants people looking in their backyard.
Yeah.
Just the location of the house causes
Yeah.
a problem. I can understand why you have the rule in most situations, but,
I think, I see your point, Penn. I think I'd like to come up with some type of compromise though, and here's why. Number one, the fence needs work.
Sure.
Let's just be honest with you.
Yeah, no
The
doubt.
fence is in some serious shape, okay?
Yeah, right.
So I appreciate the fact that you want to make it look better.
Presentable.
Right? Yeah, and that's what I would presume. Painting it black is you're attempting to do,
To
right?
hide-
Is
to hide the problems with the
right.
fence.
And let's also be the other piece of it too is painting anything a lighter color in this community is problematic simply because of the fact that we live with distilleries that produce soot that makes it difficult. So I think that we need to come up with with an alternative. We need to come up with something, I think, short of.
The reason we propose black is because we believe that it would hide the imperfections, better than any other color. If you paint it, the same color as the trim, which we certainly can do.
But
I think it will highlight some of the imperfections because it's in really bad shape. Like there's pieces that are kind of warped.
Yep.
That it's in really bad shape.
You could, I'm sorry.
No, go on. You're fine.
You could, there's another middle ground area where you can stain it because we had a property come up on East John Fitch right at the corner of South 2nd on the northeast corner where they fenced in the back of their yard, and part of that, it's a plank fence and runs across along John Fitch, which is stained, which is kind of a darker as it ages, I guess, or sets or cures, whatever. It's a bit of a darker stain, not black, but it's. And there's a property up on North 4th Street on the northwest corner. It's not in the historic district, but it's a privacy fence that started out, I think, bare wood, and I believe they stained it, and it looks a lot better actually than something that would just go to gray. So I think we could certainly consider staining it. I think black. I think doing that kind of brings out this wall thing, and it either a lighter color. If the lighter color is I understand why I want to do that, but with a lighter color is preferable. But I think staining would work. And I don't know how that would hide.
I haven't considered that, and I'd have to.
The only thing with staining is you have to keep doing it. Every so often.
Yeah.
But then you have to do that with paint anyway.
And frankly, we'd love to replace it, but we don't want to replace it with a 4-foot, fence where people are walking by. There's so much traffic right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you know, certainly, I'm not the boss of the house, so I'll certainly take any, I mean, you know, I'll take back the suggestion of either a lighter color or a stain. You know, take a look at the Second and Fitch and North Fourth.
Yes, Fourth and, let me think. It's Fourth and Brashear.
Okay.
Wait a minute. No. Fourth and Beale on the northwest corner of Fourth and Beale Street, I believe.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's a Craftsman.
It's a
Craftsman
Craftsman
house
house
right
with
there.
that fence on the back.
Very nice
yeah.
Craftsman house. It's right on the northwest corner of Fourth and Beale. And on the 4th Street side, north, is, you know, it's going to be on your left, and you'll see, it's just like a small section of fence, but they stained it. You can kind of get maybe a better idea.
Rogers?
I don't know who lives there.
They live on the northeast corner. Tracy and Bruce live on
It's
the
the other
northeast
Craftsman
corner.
house, yeah.
So on the northwest corner.
Northwest.
Okay.
Maybe not.
If you're
Maybe
going,
not.
if you're going
Rogers
north
have
on
a-
4th Street, it's on your right hand
They have a
side.
privacy as well
Right.
that has not been necessarily stained, but it has been treated.
Yeah.
It may be what it is. It would, in any case, it would wind up being darker than that. So that could, you know, that might.
That would be, I
how you all
think,
feel about that?
a good middle ground.
Yeah.
My other question is, he obviously can't put up a new privacy fence, but if he replaces pickets, that's just repairing.
Right. You could do that.
And there are pickets that you replace them.
Well, you could do that and
I'm
paint
just
it light.
saying,
It's true.
I mean, you know.
Anything can be, yeah, because I mean, I don't think we would get to the level that if you take out a couple of, or some pickets to repair that it's not grandfathered.
Right.
I don't, you know, I think that's a really good suggestion. And you could repair the pickets, assuming it's pretty standard fence.
Yeah.
You see that all the time, like on the privacy fence. It's the back of the courthouse annex. They're replacing them all the time.
Right.
So I mean, you could, yeah, usually replace the pickets, and if you could do that and get pickets in good shape, and then paint it light. If that's something.
If
I
you
just didn't
wanna
know how
paint-
much, like, you know, is there a certain
Or
amount
stain
he
it.
can?
Or stain.
stain.
Or stain it.
So, are we approving a review for either a stain or a color that matches the trim? I can't imagine we'd want to paint it a lighter color that doesn't match the trim.
Right, right. When were you wanting, how soon?
I mean, there's no timeline, you know.
I think that, I don't know, since we got an unresolved question as to how much repair is involved and whether you would prefer either the same color roughly matching your trim or staining, we could table this and come back at the next meeting with what you discussed, you know, and see where we go from there. We'd also have a better idea as how much of the fence would need replacing.
Yeah.
If that's suitable to you, if you're not looking to do it immediately.
I mean, it was just a thought, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
there's
point.
there's one
Because
picket
you
on the
obviously
side.
don't want to lose your privacy fence.
Right.
But it needs something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and actually, I wasn't aware, you know, we had thought about, you know, petitioning to replace it, putting back up a privacy fence, and I wasn't aware until tonight that wasn't allowed under the guidelines, so.
Well, it just can't be as tall. I mean, you can have a
6 feet,
fence,
yeah.
but you couldn't have it that tall. It's a little bit different
Then it's not a
design.
privacy
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah. Right.
We don't want
Right. Is
to
that,
look in the backyard.
right.
I would also encourage, if we're gonna table this, that you and your wife or your wife maybe look at other paint colors too, because I don't know if we would hold you to having it have to match the trim. So there may be
No.
something, you know, because that's kind of light, and you may not
Right.
prefer to go that light
Yeah.
for, reasons.
Yeah.
But there may be some other, if staining is not an option, there may be some other middle ground colors that
Sure.
you all are okay with. Because I don't want to tell you what color to paint,
Right.
because it's not my fence. So, but if you all had some ideas of things that you liked, then we could do, you know, we could talk about those and see, maybe just give you, I just want to give you more
I
options
mean,
as a
like,
homeowner.
look at your house and consider the foundation color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brick color, just,
Right.
I mean, just put it all on the table and.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
have alternatives.
Yeah, we can throw,
Come with, you
Yeah,
know,
3 or 4
come back
colors
with,
that- yeah.
with things that you like,
sure.
and then we can discuss them, and that way you have alternatives, we could talk about them and find one that suits.
Fair enough.
That sounds like
All right.
The next-
So,
The next deadline will be August
oh,
3rd,
third.
and then the next meeting will be August 16th. So if you get everything to me, we will not charge you again for another application fee.
Okay.
So if you get everything to me.
But I will need to submit a new application with this, just with the different
Yeah,
colors.
but you won't be charged. And then with actual sample colors that we can keep.
Got it. All right.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good
Thank you.
luck. Thanks for waiting.
So-
till
That's all right.
Thank you.
I'll try to get my application
All
in
right.
before the last day.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we need a motion
Yeah.
on the table though.
I'll make the, oh, here, sorry, let me get there. I'll make a motion to table COA 16-61 so that the applicant has time to pursue other paint options.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That takes care of our COAs.
All right,
And unfinished business. Do you have any? No? Okay. New business, well, we have a couple of things. Well, discussion regarding cell phone towers, which is the microcell network proposal. We don't have anything specific, right?
No, we don't have anything as of right now, but I'm working with Lenny Hamilton and Jeff, and basically we're trying to see what the company's coming up with, and then, but what we would need as far as from us is probably a letter to city council saying before they make a final decision that you all would like to see this. Because technically they're exempt, this would be on city right away. So
So, can I just have a little bit of background? I have
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
idea what we're
Okay.
talking about.
The city,
Go ahead, Pam.
okay, the city, there's a company that is working as a partner with Sprint. And the idea is to extend Sprint's coverage, and this happens around the country with lots of other providers, by providing what they're calling microcell networks. And so you put in a 50 or 70-foot pole, looks like a telephone, like a grandiose telephone pole. It's not your cell tower, like the one on Muir, which is in the Stark District, by the way, the AT&T building, the normal cell tower where people co-locate and do all that. It's a pole, and it's some, you know, what they were proposing is to put a 70-foot, I think it was 70-foot pole across on the city right-of-way from Hagelman's Bakery, and so that what they do is they attach equipment on there so that it can pick up Sprint, people who are using Sprint, and I guess relay it to a tower more just on. It provides better coverage, particularly used like at Derby or here at the Bourbon Festival, which is maybe why they want to locate it there. So when you've got heavy areas of heavy use, social media, people going to Derby or whatever, and they're using it. You know, everybody's using their phone, it provides a lot better coverage and faster coverage.
So it's, okay.
That's,
So that helps me. So essentially a 70-foot telephone pole is what we're talking at the corner of Flagey and
4th Street,
4th.
roughly. Don't know what they mean by
But it's
across
a
the
tower
pavement.
though, it's not a pole.
it's supposedly a pole.
It's a pole.
It's a pole, it's a large pole, they haven't given specific dimensions, but
Right.
a very large pole,
Okay.
70 feet. Average pole size, I believe they stated in the last meeting that we had with department heads was 40 for a
Right.
a regular telephone or light pole.
Right.
So it's much taller than that, yeah, so it's much taller than that, and then it has kind of a little blip thing on the top.
It's kind of the flagpole in front of the old library building on the Port Square is, I don't know, I was eyeballing it going from F40, it's roughly 70 maybe a little lower. So it's very tall. I mean, the whole thing is, you know, then the city is not like Rashay was saying, I mean, the city, and we said earlier, the city is exempt from historic zoning or any kind of zoning. But,
Like
you
in
know,
the middle of a block somewhere in Center Right?
well, see, there are all sorts of things. What we need to, I think what we would need to do in a letter is not outline all the parameters necessarily, but yeah, I mean, location, the color of the pole, the height of the pole, what's going to be on top of the pole. You
I would
wouldn't want it
just have to
situated.
keep in mind the fiasco of the traffic light at Fifth
Exactly,
and
yeah.
Stephen Foster.
Yeah.
And, and keep that in
So I think-
consideration for
Right.
this
So I think what,
and location.
yeah, so I think what we need to do is
You know what I'm talking
work
about.
with Shay and go through.
I know what you're talking about.
You know,
I
to-
mean, I don't know what happened, but I walked past it
Yeah.
a million times.
Yeah, is to get a letter to city council just,
And to request that we see the final design
Right.
and make recommendations
to make
based
our
on that.
recommendation. They don't have to follow the recommendation, but on the other hand, the city can craft its contract with this company to include limitations based on it being in the
Right.
historic district. So I think any letter to the city would request that they do that. You know?
Okay, I have another question, and this may, well, it's not in May, it will illustrate my ignorance with all of this and how telecommunications functions. So, this is for a private company, though, correct? For
Right.
Sprint coverage?
Correct.
Yes.
So, how then, if it's for a private entity, they're contracting with the city, so then that makes them exempt because they're a private business.
But they're putting it on city right of way,
It's
which
just-
we are
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's the city right of way technically, which we do not own, but it is in the historic district.
The city grants them a franchise.
Okay.
And so the city basically grants them permission for a fee, whatever percent they agree upon with their negotiation.
Got it.
Yeah, they give them a franchise, permission to put it on city property. And then by extension, because the city has let them do that, they are exempt from us.
Why can't we
There's
just put it
no
over
city
by the
property.
fire department? Over by the city?
Very good question. So, I mean, maybe that's where all the other ones
but-
are.
Yeah.
That's
Why
what I
not
was
just put it
thinking.
with the rest of them? Why would you put
Right.
it downtown, like right outside of
A whole lot
Haymarket?
of questions like that.
Yeah, particularly
Yeah.
if the purpose of it is, I mean, if we're thinking about arts and crafts fair, if we're thinking about, and
Mm.
we don't know if that's what they're thinking, but my
Right.
goodness, you just put it
Yeah,
right
right
there by
there.
the city. It's, I mean, it's,
It's a no-brainer for that.
you can, it's 6 and 1, half dozen in the
It's only a
other.
block difference, so
Yeah,
it's
so
like.
why would they?
They're not taking, honestly, I don't think the historic district was even taken into context whenever this was formulated.
No. So I think, I think we do need to do a letter.
That's most unfortunate.
There's like 4 million trees that could hide most of it over there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah, I mean,
that's a
absolutely.
more appropriate location.
It's not in the historic
It's
district.
not
but
in the
it's,
historic district,
put it there.
it's with other utilities. It would be easier to maintain. God forbid something were to happen and the pole were to fall down. You wouldn't impact people's residencies, people
Hattard's Bakery.
being there, our donuts. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
people, let's think about this.
No more
I mean, like
yum-yums.
that. So, yeah. if
Or
we need to
historic
write it-
homes.
Or, exactly.
Right, right.
Residences, anything like that,
Right.
that actually impact the economic foundation.
And
Of
it's
the
still
community.
close to where
Right.
everything
Yeah,
happens.
I mean, my
Right.
gosh.
It is. So if we can get, maybe we can work together. If we agree,
Yeah.
we'll write a letter. And it has to be done, I think it needs to be done pretty soon because these companies don't like to drag their
Right.
feet.
No, we
They
need
like
to
to
do
get
it
away.
basically next week.
So
All right.
Okay.
we could, do you want to,
Draft a letter.
we don't necessarily have to draft it here. Do you want to give Rashay
Yeah.
authority to draft a
Mhm.
letter? We can do
Yeah.
that. Is you comfortable with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So asking them that we would, like you had said, that we would like to be considered before city council meets to
Yeah.
vote, to consider it. And they have all these working groups, that we can, and if we needed to, we can call a special meeting. We can call a special meeting to consider that, just that one topic.
Yeah.
What
And
I'll do is I'll probably draft a letter and get that out to you Monday as soon as I can. Does
Okay.
that sound good?
yeah,
And let you all kind of review that?
Sure.
okay.
And
So-
then take comments and suggestions and then do the final letter and submit that to city council.
I think at that point, I don't think we need to necessarily be specific about what we want or don't want. I think we just want, at this point, city council to consider our input on preservation standards and the impact in the historic district.
I think so,
Leave it
too.
at that, and then if they agree to do that,
Yeah.
then we could even hold a special meeting, because we can't do it electronically. So if we could have a special meeting and be ready to do that in August or sometime that's convenient for everybody, and give whatever advance public notice we need, then to discuss it. But we can't do that until we know what they're proposing.
Right.
Yeah.
So once, they propose what they want, how tall it is, and they have the height, dimension, color, all the other things that we know to be able to make a decision.
Location.
Location, absolutely.
And you all you can say, we do not want this in the district.
You say whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
That you're absolutely allowed to say that. In fact, this has come up all across Kentucky.
Right.
Many CLGs are coming up with these problems and there's conflict.
Yeah.
So we are not the first to experience
Right.
this.
Do we know for sure that they want it in the district?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They wanted
Do we
it
know
across
why?
from. No, I don't know.
Because of reception and poor, something to that extent. There's a lot of demographics and tables and things of that nature and why they want in that specific area.
Okay.
But again, you all are allowed to make, you're allowed to express your opinion on this.
Sure.
Can we ask if they looked in other areas? I mean,
And
Sure.
they're wanting to post multiple sites all across the city. So there's, I think, 6 total.
That's
I
the
mean,
only
the
one in the
historic
district.
district is not that big, they can get on the edges.
yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
there's
just go down
ways.
the block.
So, I mean, we can ask any question we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can absolutely, you're free to do that. That's within your right 100%.
Yeah.
Just curious. This is interesting.
So that's, it's new. It's like the murals, it's just,
Mhm.
there'll be more of this, technology.
Sure.
So-
Sure,
So,
absolutely.
but we need to make sure that just because the city, yes, is exempt from historic zoning, but then again, the city can include, if it wants to and votes to, can include provisions to protect the historic district,
So, I mean,
or not to put it in the historic
Right.
district for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
we should all be, everyone in Bardstown should be considering the aesthetics of our
Exactly.
downtown, because it's where we get really.
Put a 70-foot pole across from Haydorn's, my guess is you'll be able to see it for a lot
How
of,
long?
it's going to stand out. It's going to be taller, almost as tall as the old courthouse building. So you're looking at a pole, even though it's a pole, you got a pole. So
A 70-foot
Yeah.
pole is an eyesore.
it is. So
It doesn't matter what's on it.
can't disguise it like they do to some cell towers, make them look up like a pine tree. It's not gonna work. So anyway, that's good. If we can,
Yes.
Okay,
We
so
can
I'll
do that.
draft that, get that out to you hopefully Monday, and then
Okay.
get comments and then immediately submit that.
Now, when we submit our comments, we should do it just to you though, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Remember, because that'll violate
Yep.
open records
Yep.
if you copy everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not voting.
We're not.
No.
Right, right,
So,
but even
you
comments,
can-
you
Yeah,
have to.
so I will
Yeah.
individually mail you all the
Mhm.
letter, and then you can respond individually back
Right,
to me.
right.
Yeah.
But then you won't be using that, we're not using that to, as a basis for a vote.
Right.
We're
I
sharing
just want
that.
to make sure you all like the
Yeah.
letter, yeah.
We got it, yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
And then I'll use this as a base letter, once we've done this, I'll use this as a base letter for when things like this come up again.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sounds good. Well,
Sounds good.
they also come in shorter lengths, heights.
Okay.
I don't know about this company, they come as short as 40 feet. So there are a whole lot of issues involved. So, all right. We do our revisions.
Yes.
Do that. I think that's one of the last things we've got.
Yeah, that's the last thing. I wanted to also note, Penn emailed me, and I am keeping a working document of, we are changing this with this in each section.
Good.
So when we decide to adopt all of this, that will become a record in which we have. So it'll be much easier that way. Also, we talked last time and we thought about, we want to get finished by December, correct? By the December meeting?
Right.
And to have that for the new year. So I created a base schedule, but it's quite demanding. So we may want to, I'm going to tell you, and you may consider this how you would like it. So
Is
base.
this in anything like,
Oh, no, this is just me. So the one is the whole standards, and we're reviewing each section. We're reviewing certain, yeah. So basically, you have to do a large section, something like demolition, economic hardship, conditional use, and the definitions. Those are the big ones I've considered real big. And then you have to do 4 additional sections with that, so 5 per month.
Okay.
That's what we would have to do in order to be finished by November.
Okay. Kind of need to get it done, so, yeah.
You want to do that? Great,
We
okay.
gotta get it done.
What I've suggested,
Try my hardest.
what I've suggested as far as, I can send that out, but for August, I just picked, I picked demolition to go ahead and get that done, accessory structures, chimneys, decks, foundations, landscape porches, and steps and stairs.
Maybe we had a demo for
I think we
today.
had demo for this one.
We had
I
demo
thought
for
we
this one.
did. We had some
Okay.
assigned.
Yeah, so
today.
we should be done with that
Okay, so that
after, or at least started anyway, not done with it.
Okay, so demo for this one, so then that would be the accessory structures, chimneys, decks, foundation, landscaping, and then, porches and stairs.
Can you email us on that?
Absolutely.
Cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can actually email you the full schedule.
Okay.
Mine's demolition, so I think I've got
You know
everything
what?
else right.
Can you upload it to our share thing?
It's already there.
Well, the whole
The
thing is there,
schedule.
but the
Can you
schedule.
upload
Oh, the schedule, yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember which ones we were doing, and last time they were uploaded for me,
That's okay.
so I knew which ones we were doing.
Did you get my email?
Mm-mm. So, okay, I'm cool. That's totally fine. So I was just like, oh, but the whole thing's on here, so that's cool. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
use that instead. So I'm good.
Okay.
It just helps keep me organized if the schedule's on there.
Absolutely.
And then if I know which ones we're doing.
Did anyone else get my email with saying what was going to be listed tonight?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
I haven't totally.
Okay, but Pam, you and Mary did at least.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good.
I feel like the last thing I got was about our educational stuff.
Yes, that was the last one I
Words,
got.
I've got them.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll double check that, okay? But I'm so sorry that you all didn't get that.
That's okay. So what did I
made a
miss?
mistake in,
Okay.
but I feel like that's the case.
Okay.
Cool.
So what did I miss in that email? Do I need to know? Or am I
What
good?
ones we were doing tonight?
Okay, I'm good then.
Cool. So I sent it out when I uploaded everything. I tried to send out that they were ready, that everything was on the SharePoint, and then with the SharePoint, there was also, don't forget to review these.
Those. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I probably got that.
It's okay. Okay. I'm good.
We will do a schedule, and that way they'll,
Yeah,
everyone will know.
that'd be
And I'll
great.
put that under other documents.
That'd be
And
awesome.
are we like making changes in this document, or are we just taking notes
No.
to bring in?
You can just go through them. Basically, we're going through, and I'm taking notes, and then making a running document. Every time we meet, this is what we're changing with what, and so forth and so forth. Okay?
Because we'll probably want to look, like the last one that we did, we'll probably want to look at it once, when we get that from you. And new construction, residential, which we're combining, no longer residential and non-residential, just new construction, right? So we may want to tweak it later, and this way we can see what it is that we all suggested and say, oh, I forgot about this, or something. We can tweak it before November.
Okay, and this was how I was basically doing it, and I want your input on this too, because I want to make sure I understood you in that email too. Basically what I'm doing is, it's a Word document, and it goes through each one, and it starts going like, NC6, NC7, and here's what we changed within that. And it
Right.
goes in chronological order, but it's just a Word document, it's not the standards themselves. I was going to do that at once it's
Right.
approved.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good, that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
Is that what you would, like if we could just have our own Word document with, or whatever kind of document with a list, NC, blah, 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 and what we think, and
that way we can just
You
mail it
can,
to you.
you can if you have time to do that, or tonight, like, if you, a lot of it, you know, we were reading it together and then we discussed and like, oh, you know what, maybe we should, you know, do it somewhere. So it's okay too if you don't have that. I've got, you know, I'm ready to go and I just type it up and we're done with the final one after tonight. Okay, I'm ready, if you are.
I'm ready. Okay.
I'm ready, yeah.
Okay.
I knew we were doing demolition, I just couldn't remember the others.
Siding and trim and windows.
I should have guessed windows.
Windows, yeah.
I should have guessed
Yeah,
windows.
windows.
So which one do you all want to start with?
Demolition, because I found it already in my
All
thing,
right.
and it took me, I have a cramp in my finger now.
All right, so for
I'm turning into a
demolition-
whiner tonight.
I'm trying to unload it.
I have a suggestion for D2, a couple of them.
Oh, can I make
Sure.
a suggestion to the paragraph then?
Mhm.
So, I think it's the third sentence. It says the guidelines for demolition are particularly stringent because the repeated loss of historic resources results eventually in irreversible damage to the integrity and character of the historic district. Can we take out eventually? Simply because I think as soon as we take anything down, it's already,
It's done.
we
Right.
have impacted the integrity and character.
Yes.
So, okay, that was,
Absolutely.
that's the only thing I have for the paragraph. Okay.
Well, and for the paragraph, I actually thought we should make a new paragraph to say with the relocation part.
Okay.
The relocation of a historic structure, because that really is not, it's a little bit different than demolition. So I thought maybe that should kind of like come out and be its own paragraph.
That's a good point.
Since it becomes, since actually the structure at that point kind of becomes mute with relocation, it loses all its historic value almost. So,
It does. Is everyone in the board aware of that? If a building is relocated, it cannot be on the National Register. It could not get specification with grants and things of that nature. It's exempt from all of that if it is removed from its original location.
Cool.
Also,
So
it's the same as demolition.
Yeah.
It's not being demolished, but you move it to a new location, we consider it, as do most other places, as the same thing as demolition.
demolished it from its
For
original
that
site
reason.
and stuff, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's
makes
not
sense.
eligible for anything,
Mhm.
and it's also considered technically false history.
Mhm.
Okay.
D2, kind of, D2 and D3 seem to be, to me, just strike me as being like backward. I just had a suggestion of changing D2 to do not demolish a structure in the historic district until the administrative officer, which is Richer, has determined that a structure or portion of a structure poses an emergency condition or conditions dangerous to life, health, or property, or a certificate of appropriateness allowing demolition has been approved. Part of that's coming from Article 15 under demolition, which is what we operate under already, but it's not really clear here. And it says, you know, until the city has determined, well, we've found, you know, from what Tim
Yes.
Butler said, that you are the administrative officer. And so Richer would be Richer's call if it's an emergency. Obviously, if something is, had a fire or
Right.
something happened to it and the storm is about to fall down, we're not going to wait till the next meeting to allow someone to
Right,
tear it down, if that's what was necessary. So that would be where that would come in as an emergency. Other than that, the person that wants to demolish it has to get a COA approved through city council first and get a permit.
Okay.
Through here and then city council.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then along with that, D3 sort of picks up with that. And I just suggested changing D3, the beginning sentence anyway, to no application shall be approved to demolish any structure or portion of a structure in the historic district or any individual landmark unless, and then keep number 1,
Got it.
keep number 2, add a number 3, which means unless the applicant has submitted and the Bardstown Historical Review Board has reviewed detailed plans for new construction on the site to be demolished, which is pulling that from the paragraph up at the top, which we can tweak that.
Oh, yeah.
Take it
yeah.
out.
I see what you're
Is that
saying.
all right?
That's good, yeah.
Because we don't really, there's nothing there, D1 through 8 through 9, that specifically addresses reviewing new construction plans. It's in the paragraph, but at least
Right,
this
but
way
it's
there'll be a
not-
section to point to.
That's a great idea.
That's good.
D8, do landscape areas. I did, well, besides, I would suggest on D8, after the beginning word do, put in remove concrete slabs and foundations and then pick up with landscape areas.
This is just kind of a sentence structure thing. Can we like take out on all of like D5, do take steps to assure? Can we just say take steps
Yeah.
to assure?
Yeah,
D6, do remove, just remove.
Yeah, just remove.
D7, infill. D8, landscape, like just eliminate, D9, take measures to reestablish. Because
Yeah.
we want to have as much strong active language as possible.
Worded.
Yeah,
So take
and
out-
so just take out the do's, yeah.
And all of them.
And use just the verb, let the verb stand alone.
We did that
Now,
last
do you
time.
want
We did
to,
it
I know
last
we,
time.
do you want to leave in upon approval of an application to
Yeah,
demolish?
I think
So you
that's
wanna
good.
leave that
Yeah,
in?
leave that
Okay,
in.
yeah.
Just take that,
Yes,
do
okay.
infill, like just make it
Okay,
And
strong
should
active
D8
language.
also have upon approval of application to demolish because everything else, or is,
Well, to me, D8 is kind of post
Different.
It's
demolition.
post demolition,
Yeah.
yeah. And I just suggested adding in the concrete slab or foundation stuff because that's what came up
Yeah, that
when we
would
dealt with the
that,
house
yes.
that burned
Yeah,
down
the
on
house
South
burned
Fifth
down,
Street.
right.
Yep, you're right.
Just Generally, there might be a concrete slab. Sometimes people have tried to leave them. And then it looks bad because they're supposed to landscape that lot, like landscape concrete. Yeah, it's a great idea.
And-
Do.
And actually, I think, kind of going along with that, D9 and D8 might actually need to be swapped because D9 actually has to do with demolition, but D8 is really kind of
Yeah, post,
post demolition.
yeah,
So I think reversing, putting D9 as D8 and D8 as D9 would be a better flow.
I want to go back to the paragraph now that I'm thinking about it. I really think it's important to emphasize that demolition is by all means the last resort and that it's something that we don't take lightly. So the sentence that says the guidelines for demolition are particularly stringent, the one that I just took out eventually in, can we make that the first sentence?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then demolition will not be approved until plant, like those two sentences be the first two sentences, and then the best way to prevent demolition is to keep them that way. So that it's very clear, like if you're just flipping through, you see immediately, even if you don't read the rest of this page or the paragraph, that first sentence there, this is what, and you could even make it so that sentence stands alone and then the paragraph below it. Because I think we really want to emphasize demolition is not something to just think, oh, I don't like this building, I'm taking it down. Which,
That sounds good.
So you want demolition is the last resort to be by itself?
yeah, the guidelines for demolition are particularly stringent. I want that part to be
space.
by itself, like, but
Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
Underline.
Yeah.
essentially, we
Yes.
don't mess around with demolition.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say, but this is so much more user-friendly. That way,
Clicker.
yeah.
We go back to D8 where it says on the first sentence, as the result of removals of non-historic buildings and additions, and I would substitute for the non-historic because there is a case where conceivably a historic building might need to be demolished. So just substitute for that structures and portions of structures. That way they're everything, whether it's
Anything that's demolished.
anything that's demolished, yeah, make it simple.
Yeah, anything that you take down.
Garage,
Okay. So
shed.
anything demolished.
Well, Well, it's going to be left vacant as the result of any, well, I don't know, you could say anything that is demolished. Structure. Yeah, sounds good. And then we could add, I think it's, I know we talked about it a minute ago, but if we add a D10, that the removal and relocation of a historic structure is considered to be synonymous with demolition.
Yeah.
So you actually want to put that, you want to get it out of the opening paragraph?
I think it's all right to leave it in there, wouldn't hurt to.
But make it a
Make it
separate
its own.
one too?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Okay.
Make it its own
Fine,
thing.
that's cool.
Well, I
That
don't
way
think we can ever say that.
Emphasize,
No.
yeah, exactly. Emphasizes it.
I would say, yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
Awesome sauce.
Please make sure that's in the notes. Awesome.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome. That's right.
Actually,
I
it's a
won't
very,
sign it without
it's
awesome.
a very technical term.
It's on a little sticky note.
I brought a little awesome sauce tonight. Totally just kidding. Okay. It's late. I'm getting
It is.
sidetracked. Okay, so we're doing what? Windows next or siding?
Whichever one you all want to do.
What page?
Which one?
What page?
Siding starts on page 62.
Okay, let's see if I can
Do
get
siding
there.
too,
My
yeah.
handy dandy.
Siding and trim.
62, Mary?
This is why I'm wearing a wrist brace.
62.
Scrolling.
Actually, if you look at the little dots on the bottom, you
Nice.
can move through it pretty quick.
I can?
Uh-huh.
Wow,
See the little dots at the bottom?
yeah, I can see them. They're like waving at me, but they don't do anything. Wait, do I touch them?
Yeah.
But how? Okay.
Move the blue dot.
See the blue,
There
the
you are.
blue dot? Just move it through the little dots.
Oh,
With the-
yeah, there's my
finger like a
side.
pencil.
Oh,
Yeah.
it shows up as page. Which
Don't you
page?
feel like
62.
Oh,
the
it's
younger
on.
people should be more?
I feel like we should, but we're not.
They have pointy fingers.
Here's,
Switch.
it's not showing
Siding and
up.
trim? Siding.
Siding and trim.
Siding and trim.
All right.
Okay, I gotta wait for my page to
It's a
load.
bit of a mishmash.
I've actually had to go out and come back in a couple of
Yeah.
times tonight. One of the COAs just totally like.
I really wish the city would improve their utilities and their coverage of, you know, technology and
While
whatnot,
we're waiting for
particularly
that,
as it's here.
Microcell pole will take
Right,
care of
I
that.
really feel like a pole right there would take care of this issue for me.
It's
That's all I'm
7 foot,
saying.
70 feet
And we know
outside
about
our
cell
house
phones, can
door.
we just get our internet to work?
Right, thank you, yeah, thank you.
And the second page, it has it still at the courthouse and things like that. So-
Yeah,
It still has opens though.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
fine.
right. So I'd go ahead and get all that.
Don't put that in the minutes, don't put that in.
No, that's not
Record.
I know,
What's the matter?
we're on record over
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
around here, so.
I know.
And we're all slap happy, this is great.
This is dangerous.
We will get through this.
Bad things are.
Okay, siding and trim. If S4,
I can't see it.
number 4, what do you think about removing the little phrase such as cement board? And that way, I don't think we should suggest alternative materials. That can be done when they meet with you, when owner meets with you initially, because I don't like to keep harping or having us suggest that this is the only one, such as. If we don't suggest any, if we say non-historic materials may be used on elevations not visible from the street. And that way then.
Can
people
we just say not vinyl siding, can we just say that?
Well, I had a little thing about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And because of what we got.
Non-historic materials excluding vinyl siding will be considered.
Well, yeah, I had, well, the thing I had about vinyl, where is it? Let me see. I did on number 8, where it says do not use. I'd suggest deleting it. I don't even know what textured plywood is, much less
It's what was on-
T-111.
What was on the house that they did on Beale? The one that was, in
That was used
disrepair.
as the one that was
Cedar board.
submitted as
As-
an example
yeah.
of an appropriate use
What
of
they had on the front
vinyl
was some
that
kind of
was,
textured plywood.
Yeah,
vertical
Redone with-
porch.
outside of the historic district.
That's what I know because we almost bought that house. What was in front of
okay.
it. Thank God we did. I mean, it was, my daughter was sick, we didn't have enough.
It wasn't a good home.
No,
Okay.
Well,
it was too much work.
I would think of deleting the
Yeah, I don't-
text. Hmm?
I mean, it's not something we're gonna approve. Texture plywood is not something.
No, it's
No.
not going to be approved.
So I
It
think
shouldn't
it-
even be in here. Nobody's gonna.
Nobody's
Well,
gonna use it.
yeah, like I
Don't
said,
even
these
know if you
haven't
can get it.
been looked at in so long.
But I was thinking of deleting that whole text, keep
Mhm.
S8 and change S8 to appropriate substitute siding materials with the exception of vinyl siding may be used in new construction for siding that is visible from a public way.
And
From a public way. Vinyl siding and other appropriate materials may be used in new construction if not visible from a public way.
You want to
May be used,
Maybe.
you know, if not visible
Right.
from public way, so that's.
Read that to me again. I just got to the page so far.
I'm sorry. Appropriate substitute siding materials, with the exception of vinyl siding, may be used in new construction for siding that is visible from a public way. And then
Okay.
the opposite of that, because I think we need to make it clear, vinyl siding and other appropriate materials may be used in new construction if not visible from a public way. It's new construction and not visible from a public way, you can't see it.
And
Very much
may
like
be used.
may be
And may
used.
used. Okay,
Well,
yeah, I
just
got you
like the
now.
windows that we talked
Yeah.
about, if they're, you know, you can't
May
see
be
it.
used. Got it.
You can't see it, you know, and it's not character defining. We're not talking about character defining siding, so we're just talking about new construction.
Got it.
So there's not going to be anything historic.
Got it.
Does that
Yep, that makes
seem
sense to me.
reasonable?
Mhm.
In that way? And I had,
is there some way to say that vinyl siding may not be used on existing things, like only on new construction, maybe?
yeah,
Like, we're not gonna put vinyl siding on any
historic.
existing.
Or-
Historic structure.
Yeah, I had that somewhere.
Well, but
I'm
But I think we get back into that argument about, is it visible from a public way?
Right.
Well, you're talking about like two issues. One is it visible from a public way, and one is it replacing historic material.
Right,
And the
right,
thing is,
yes, yes.
in
sorry,
S4,
yeah.
which is kind of a mishmash,
Mhm.
I had a suggestion after, in the last paragraph. Where is it?
Of S4?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think where it says.
Textured or rusticated siding.
Oh, okay, yeah. Add along with that, textured or rusticated siding, siding with wood grain patterns, and vinyl PVC siding are not acceptable substitute materials for historic siding.
Could we, I like that.
Visible or no?
Could we
Yes.
say,
Yeah, because we're talking about taking off, you know, if there was historic material that you couldn't see, you're still degrading historic material with an inappropriate replacement.
could we reframe that though in such a way to allow it not to be boxed in case there was another inappropriate material that we are brought? So, unacceptable substitute materials are including but not limited to, list all of those.
Yeah, that's good.
And then, because there may be a new thing that is invented and it's, well, that's not listed as one of the inappropriate.
Yeah, we don't want to box it.
We don't want to get boxed in case there's something else that comes before us that's not an appropriate
Yeah, because when we have our trade
material.
fair next year, we may see other things out
We
there.
may see,
right?
because, you know, there's constantly stuff coming up. So, cool.
I did want to ask, and this is, again, this is just something for us to think about, but under siding and trim, if it would be good to put something in that opening paragraph about keep in mind visibility.
Yeah. I think so too.
If it is visible from a public way, or if it is not visible from a public way, may determine appropriate materials or something like that. I
Something
mean,
like that. I think so too.
I think
Yep.
we just need to kind of set that
Yep,
stage.
I think so too.
And
I think that's great.
Yeah, and the use of the word, the phrase public way, or a public way, whatever, needs to be, I think, substitute anywhere, like in S4 says from the street, anywhere it says the street, substitute it from
public way.
a public way.
Yeah, I
The
think
thing
so
with
too.
alleyways and things at the parking lots, yes.
Yes, I
City,
think so
it
too.
includes city streets, city alleys, which they're all city,
Right.
mostly, and city parking lots, so they're publicly maintained, which is about every viewpoint that you could look at.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, there where it would be visible. Is that cool?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, is that, sometimes it says public way, like in the windows, it does, because that was a newer revision in 2012. A lot of it's the old stuff visible from the street, whatever that means. So, yeah, we know what it means. It usually means the front, so we don't want to get tied down to that because
Right.
you could have a very historic area in the back that's visible.
Oh, and the Nelson County Gazette does have, just thinking about all of this, the Nelson County Gazette does have the city council meeting where Derek Hutchins' appeal was. If you all would like to watch that video, we are the first ones to go. It's about 30 minutes, and then it goes into the regular meeting, so that's based on that.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure you all,
Thank
I might try
you.
to send it to you all. Thank you all for that.
Do you have others for siding and trim, Pam?
For siding and trim on S5 or SI5, I wasn't sure if that's what that is.
A one or?
I think we should just get rid of the word preferable and put it is acceptable, if that's what we want to say.
Yep.
It is acceptable to remove synthetic siding materials and to restore historic siding. On S11, do you see how that, it goes from page 62 to 63? Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
If you'll go to page 63,
preferred.
that first sentence, the sentence before it says, retention of exposed original siding is always preferable or preferred. I think we need to get rid of the word however, and then start a new sentence to say, if a decision is made to apply siding, again, it's like kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, you're right. It's
So-
not strong.
I want to go back to SI5 where you said, would it not be preferable to remove synthetic siding and restore historic siding instead of acceptable? Because it's preferable to have the original siding, not
acceptable.
I mean, acceptable is like,
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I just think
That was
we just
good.
need to not be so preferable and acceptable. I don't know, it just seemed too wordy, so.
preferable seems like
Yeah.
if you're
It's
gonna.
preferable to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that, so.
That's good.
Okay, question on that one. So, do we need to have some, and I may be getting a little kind of ticky-tacky with this, but do we need to have something in there? We don't want people to just look at this and be like, oh, I can take this stuff down without any type of approval. I mean, is that something that needs to have upon approval? We would prefer that you could do this, or am I just crazy?
We could put it up in the paragraph that any change to the
Needs,
needs to.
We
Require-
almost need to say in every section, every opening paragraph.
COA
Remember,
approval.
any exterior changes require a COA.
Yeah,
It says that
something
way in the
like that
beginning of this.
beginning, But each section, and
yeah,
if it's, and you
each
can get it
section,
yeah.
online and you can check, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
And then I had a question about the S11 and S12. So it says do not install vinyl or aluminum sidings on, is it that one? Hold on, let me,
S12 says use
Okay.
only vinyl or aluminum.
yeah, use
siding.
only
What?
vinyl or aluminum siding. So S12.
I would
Use
delete it.
only vinyl or aluminum siding. We want to get rid of that because we don't want any use
Right,
of
correct,
vinyl
correct.
siding, right? And
Right.
then do not install vinyl or aluminum siding. The SI
14.
11 says that too. Do not install vinyl or aluminum siding on primary elevations on historic buildings. We don't want it on any elevation of a historic building, right? Am I right?
Of a
That
historic
can-
building,
That
correct.
is
Right.
visible from a public.
That is
way.
visible
Right.
from a public way.
The 11. So should it read, do not install vinyl or aluminum siding on historic buildings visible from a public way?
I think we had that, yeah, where did we put that?
I thought we were saying it could only go on new construction if it
Did we
wasn't
put that in that
We
one?
did, we
Yes.
said.
Okay,
That's
just
8.
making sure.
Yeah.
That was before I had the page. I'm
Right.
sorry.
We said, yeah, vinyl siding, not acceptable substitute material for historic
Got it,
siding.
got it,
So
okay.
public way or
Cool.
not,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
Okay, all right, good.
Okay. I'm good then.
cool.
Okay.
Where's this about asbestos?
Oh, yeah.
Is that 12? Wait a minute.
So are we getting rid of S12? SI12?
No. Just the vinyl part.
Just the
Just the vinyl
vinyl
part,
part,
okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should just say, instead of, it says use only vinyl or aluminum siding that matches the dimensions of the original. Any siding applied to, any siding that is approved has to match the original dimensions,
Yeah.
not whatever
That's good.
material it is. Whatever, if any siding that is approved by the Historic Review Board must match the original dimensions of,
Mhm.
instead of these specific things. And then the generally smooth face, narrow profile siding, that all seems appropriate. But to say whatever material has to be the same dimensions is stepping on our own toes.
And the only other thing that I had for window, or siding and trim was on number 13, add the word asbestos before lead.
Got it. Yep.
Asbestos and, or whatever we want, you know, so that, because we've got asbestos siding houses, so if people want to remove it, you know, that like lead paint is going to have to be done according to
Right.
all the
Standards.
laws and regs and so forth.
Lots of regulations.
Lots of,
Oh, yeah.
especially asbestos.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of each one of these having, you know, prior approval, because it's an exterior
Yeah.
operation. So, you
And while we're talking about that real quick, I'd like to interject too. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. If it is in-kind work, I still document it. I have a binder going. I usually either send an email or a letter stating what they're going to do, so I have that record, and then I take before and after pictures. So even in-kind work, they still need to give me a call, so we have that record for their files. I know that's not what usually has happened in the past, but that's part of the regulations.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If they don't, they're not breaking any reg, because Article 15 allows people to do that, but it's a good way to double check. I mean, just so we can keep up, you know, if they're doing in-kind work and it truly is in kind, then that's, you know, more power to them. Like you said, that way you can also keep up with changes in buildings.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
basically, the file becomes a history, a chronological history
Right.
of the
Mhm.
building.
So go ahead and plan a visit to my house because my deck steps are falling. Give me a call before you start.
Okay.
That's right.
Was that it on siding and trim? Okay, moving on to windows.
Windows. Our
Page
favorite.
69 and then page 107. Residential windows is 69. And commercial windows is 107.
Okay.
Thank you. Because I can't.
That's the only way I
Thank
keep
you.
track of it.
Thank you.
Goodness.
I actually didn't have a lot of windows on it. I think we
I
must
don't know why I
have.
did. So W3 is kind of weird. If we add as a second sentence, I don't have a problem with the first sentence, on W3, as a second sentence, this includes windows that were replaced during a later historical period that are now considered to be historic.
Oh, okay.
So-
Like because we just had a similar
Yeah.
issue with
So
that.
basically, if it's
Yeah.
50 years or older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whether original or no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
in that, because we have a lot of them that are now historic windows, but they were of a later design, a
Right.
later era, like porches, Victorian
When we
porches.
make these changes, do we have to like get all this approved by the
Yes.
powers that be?
No.
No, we just hold a special meeting that is advertised for the public's input.
Yeah.
And then we are the powers that be, basically.
I just didn't know if like there were federal powers.
No, no.
No.
CLGs, state law allows CLGs to, and federal really, certified local governments to create their own guidelines as long as they're based on the Secretary of Interior's standards of rehabilitation, which these are. As long as they continue along that guideline, you meet the requirements to be certified as a CLG,
What's CLG?
certified local government. So in order to be a historic district within the state of Kentucky, you have to meet certain guidelines. Meeting more than a few times a year, like more than once a year is one of them. You have to have a board, they have to be nominated, and you have to have voting and, approval process in place. So that's a few basic requirements to become a CLG. And Bardstown is the oldest CLG in Kentucky. That makes you feel special.
That does, and I think that that is something that we should perhaps highlight in our letter about the pole.
That's why it was closed.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
because
idea.
I have to tell you.
not
I
everyone
like-
knows that.
Mhm.
I like the window section because it's do not.
Me
Do
too.
not. It was
New.
very
Well, we
informative. I
revised
know,
it.
we actually revised it. yeah.
2012, we revised
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
it's we made a point.
Took it
Yeah.
from Denver.
To
so
make
a lot
it-
of it.
I think
Very
why I didn't have
strong.
very many.
Do we,
Yeah.
we had the exception with the hotel.
Mhm.
Where do we address?
I think that should be, I think it definitely should be safety and accessibility, but you can put it in here too, if you want to include it in both.
I think it can be its separate as in here too. I think that would be important because I think so.
We might need a
And then
W-19.
make it, its own thing. Don't
Yeah,
add it
create
to
one.
Yeah.
a one, but
Mhm.
make it its own. Yeah, like a W-19 would be
Okay.
fine.
It would probably be a good idea to check through the Heritage Council, just to see what the limits are.
I can do that.
Yeah, ramifications are for safety and preservation, because they're not always
Right.
compatible. I'm thinking, sometimes fire doors have been demanded in a historic building, and the owner has been able to not have to do that, so, just depends. What?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's been fire doors and they have not been approved. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just to know, what is their thinking on the demands for safety? A lot of it's
Okay.
common sense, and can you put in a thicker window instead of the historic glass and stuff like that, or what we approved for the windows there for the Talbot's Hotel.
I will contact the Kentucky Heritage Council and I will have that information. So that way we will be ready for that next meeting. And then we could potentially,
Mhm.
based on what they said, add it to windows and
Yeah.
safety and
that's good.
accessibility.
Yeah, windows, doors.
Mhm.
I just had a couple of little tweaks on W3 and just words in the, let's see, in what is now, the second sentence, I would get rid of the word closely. It's one of those
Mhm.
words lawyers have a field day with.
Mhm.
I would get rid of the word closely, and in the following sentence, I would get rid of in most cases.
Mhm.
And then the,
I had that for commercial windows.
Yeah, they did.
Put it in for-
and then change the next sentence, which begins with the word replacement,
Mhm.
to replacement may be appropriate if they are not character defining and are not visible from a public way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Because it's kind of like what we talked about tonight.
Yeah, and then delete the word closely again in the next
Excellent.
sentence. It-
Yeah.
Yes, it's like probably.
Maybe, kind of.
Yeah, sort
Yeah, kind
of.
of, sort of.
Okay.
Okay. W9. W9, the new windows that went in Talbot Hotel, we saw the specs on those Gen Weld windows, and they had a reflectivity of 0.065, which is great. You know, only because I found a couple of these historic districts that say use that as an absolute minimum, because otherwise then the window starts going black or shiny, you know, it starts acting like a mirror. Excuse me, if it's more intense than that, if it's really reflective.
0.065?
Yeah, like windows with reflective film or low E glass, which is what we're talking about with a hotel, should have a visible light transmittance. I'm stealing this from like.
Did you want to put
Denver
that in the residential windows? Because the,
Well, they're all going under windows.
so we're going
Yeah.
to combine them all. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, because
Sorry.
I was looking at, yeah, really, I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah.
because Then I started looking at the
it's
non-residential
kind of
windows, and
blurred.
it's almost the same thing.
Yeah,
So
it is.
We have this manual like that.
Yes, because some residential are used for commercial and some,
Just makes more sense to do it. Okay, good.
So we said,
is turned into residential.
Well, that streamlines the book more too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit more user-friendly. Yep.
so if we said windows with reflective film or low E glass should have a visible light transmittance rating of 0.65 or higher to retain the building's historic character.
Or it should be 0.65 or less?
No, higher.
Higher, okay.
Higher, because otherwise it won't. I mean, lower, if it's lower, it won't be transmitting much at all. It'll be reflecting. It's almost like, you know, I thought the same thing, but it's going to be opposite. It's opposite that. The lower rating will be more opaque or whatever, more reflective.
I was like, we did a good job on these windows.
Yeah. So, and then we could delete W10 because we've just taken care of it.
Right,
Or,
right.
or just delete the phrase reflective. Or is it or reflective glass? We just dealt with it.
Do we want to delete it completely or just delete or reflective glass?
I would just delete or reflective glass because I don't know. Tinted glass is in there,
Okay.
which is different than putting a film on it.
Right.
Smoked glass is different, and that way it covers it.
Yeah.
But then we, you know, we could take out or reflective glass since we just did that one. And then in 19, we get to our vinyl, which is always fun. There is no 19, so I just suggested adding a couple of them. W19, do not use vinyl or aluminum clad windows or trim on primary or secondary elevations of historic buildings. And what we did tonight is not a secondary
Right,
elevation, so it
Yeah.
kind of, it's not visible. You don't have to say visible, although I guess we could. No, it's just not visible at all, so, you know, don't use them on primary or secondary elevations. Does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah.
Can we go back real fast to
Yeah.
W18?
Yeah.
What happened to the end of it?
That is how it is.
That's how it ends?
That is how it actually is.
Wood or narrow metal frames that are painted to match, maybe?
Maybe.
What is this? A storm match? No, I guess match the window trim color. Guess we could. That's probably
Okay.
what it is.
Match the window trim
That
color.
is bizarre.
There is,
Went somewhere.
there is a few actually, you'll come across that. There's a
Okay.
few where it just ends,
Then,
and it's obviously a typo
Yeah.
from the thing, but that is actually.
okay. All right, I was
It's
like,
okay, I'm tired now.
I know, it's like,
Done.
they're gonna need.
We're done.
No, I know.
It is supper time.
It is. Okay.
So we did W19. Did you want to add another one?
The safety standards, W20.
W20, I would,
Oh, our pen has another.
well, I'm just thinking, do not,
Can we add the safety standards as one of them?
Yeah, well, and we'll.
Well, we're gonna combine them anyway, so.
Yeah, I didn't have a 20. I did have
We
a,
wanted to articulate though the safety.
yeah.
We
when
wanted to,
and I
Yeah.
was gonna, when the Kentucky Heritage Council gets back to me.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have another,
We'll have
we'll have the W19
Mhm.
about the vinyl.
Or just add a 20, and then I guess the safety could be 21.
Mhm.
I would add on 20, additions, where are we here? Additions to historic buildings may include solid wood windows and aluminum-clad true divided light windows that closely match the historic windows on the original portion of the building, thinking of the project that's underway at the house at 3rd and John Fitch. Vinyl windows and trim are not appropriate for elevations that can be viewed from a public way. That's for additions.
And that's
New
20.
construction, that's 20.
Okay,
And then
W20.
21, say for what you find out from
From the Kentucky Heritage.
Heritage Council.
Right.
Good job, board. Is there any more corrections to windows?
Not funny though, because that was pretty detailed revision in 2000, only 4 years ago.
Right.
These things come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, while we were doing this, Ken, you emailed me your corrections earlier, and that was extremely helpful in making notes with this tonight. So if you all have big revisions or you want to
Oh,
rewrite
okay,
them,
all right.
just send it to me. That way I have that for sure. And then, of course, I'm making notes as we go, but if I have that, because there's some where we're writing from scratch and sent me the
Yeah.
exact words, so it helps.
Plus,
Cool.
we kind of all start to sound along. It all kind of
As long as
starts
we
to
don't
run in.
eliminate the
Yeah.
windows section by
Yeah.
mistake, we'll be okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Right.
Let's do a save.
Right. Is that it?
That's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Is there anything else?
There was something. I promise there wasn't. I am absolutely.
From our agenda?
There was something I wanted to bring up, and I completely went blank, and I apologize. So, no.
Okay.
Be free.
We have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Right.
Bye.
It's 9:12.
Gosh.